WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show. On 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
Bob hates hearing it when someone says, I can't believe it's finally here, or can you believe it? But I'm going to say it everything. The draft is finally here tonight. It's draft night. And it seems like it's been forever. And we even had a Super Bowl run this year, so maybe the whole talk about the draft was a little bit less than it's been in the past. But, Bob, it's finally here.
Yep, April 27th. I knew it was going to be here
the night
day
finally
after
got
the 26th. And like a week ago, I knew it was about a week out.
Yes.
So, yeah, it came right when I thought it was going to come.
It did. It finally got here in the 6 o'clock hour of the John Kincade Shows, brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White's here for the pro. Pat, you know it finally got here. Draft night's here. Bob has a strange concepts with time, as we pointed out on this show.
Yeah, I'm not going to act like Bob right now.
You're not going to do that. You're glad it's here.
I'm glad it's here, too. It's not glad. It didn't pop.
Time doesn't surprise me.
It didn't, like, all of a sudden get here. It didn't take longer to get here. I knew it was on April 27th, a Thursday.
This day?
I knew when it turned April, it was going to be about 4 weeks away. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Nothing ever surprises me with time.
Did you wake up this morning and go, oh, my God, tonight's the draft?
Yeah, I did. I sort of did.
Well, yeah, so did I, but I went to bed saying tomorrow's the draft. And 2 days ago, I was like, all right, 2 days it's the draft.
And you were up watching the Union at 11:15 at night?
I was watching the Union and obviously that Miami-Milwaukee game, which I teetered out on midway through the fourth quarter because I just couldn't keep my eyes open any longer. But what a night.
A wild end.
Yeah.
It is, honestly, it's one of the biggest stories of the day, so I want to get to it right off the bat here, is the Milwaukee Bucks are out. And, Bob, you had made a statement that you're obviously free to amend, that how would the Sixers get to the finals? And you said if they didn't have to beat Boston and Milwaukee.
Yeah, we were doing the first pregame show before the first game of the Sixers-Brooklyn, and we had a crossover with Jamie and Pat. And Jamie said, was it you or Pat or Jamie that asked the question? Jamie said, all right, Bob, the Sixers will get to the final, can get to the finals if. And I said, if they don't have to go through both Milwaukee and Boston.
So now do you believe they're going to the finals?
They can.
So they can? You're like it's...
They have a better chance now than they did before.
But they have a better chance, absolutely, but...
It's weird in the East now. You have Miami and New York are playing your best basketball in the NBA right now.
I do not want to hear from anybody. If the Sixers were somehow to lose to Miami or the Knicks in a playoff series, then I don't want to hear any... literally crap. I'm about to curse.
Don't go right to why do you go to losing? Don't do it.
I'm saying is I don't even want to hear that spin. The 76ers should be able to.
You just did. You were Spider-Man. You just spun the lost
They should be able to crush if they play the Knicks. They should be able to crush the Heat, crush the Knicks, and go to the NBA Finals. This is literally coming together for them. Very similarly to the way things came together for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl, when the two better teams they could have faced got removed from their path. I mean, to me.
Enjoy it. Yeah, this is awesome.
This is fun. This is great. And now we are big, and I know this is going to be hard for you, Pat, tonight. We're all Trae Young'd up tonight. We are.
It's not hard for me.
I know it's hard.
No, it's not hard for me.
No, it's not hard?
No.
You don't like Trae Young, though.
I'm over it.
Q-tip?
Yeah, I'm over it.
Don't like
whatever.
it? Don't like it?
Do your thing.
Hey,
do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing and make it a seventh game of that series. And then you could have a chance where the Sixers could wake up on Sunday morning and be the top seed in the East. They could be the top seed.
Yep.
That would be ridiculous. And you would be looking at the Heat, the Knicks, and the Atlanta Hawks. And if you don't go to the finals, And I'm going to say, if you don't even go to the finals, if you don't go to the finals and you don't win a championship, my God, you couldn't have an easier path.
You're way ahead of yourself.
Well, two of the better teams are gone. 2 of the top 4 are gone. And the other one is in danger of being knocked out. If they lose tonight, they are absolutely in a 7th game of danger. This is lining up nicely. And you've been sitting, relaxing, resting, getting ready for the next series.
Yeah, I don't see Boston losing that series. I'd be shocked. I'd be more shocked. Well, no. I'd be just as shocked if they lost and Miami beating Milwaukee. That was a weird thing last night. So Jimmy Butler's been going off, as we've been seeing. He's been absolutely remarkable.
Ridiculous.
They have a chance to tie the game in regulation. They throw an inbounds pass where he 2-hand shoves Pat Connaughton into the press row of photographers and no call. Now, usually, the number 1 seed would get the good call, would get the probably correct call.
At home.
At home, deciding game, yeah. But they don't. Jimmy Butler gets the non-call but he just so coincidentally is playing so freaking well right now. I don't know how much of a 2-handed push. I had a thing on Twitter this morning that showed the play from, I think it said 7 different angles.
It's a foul on everyone.
I mean, you couldn't set your feet and 2-hand push anybody any better than he did. I'm not going to bitch and moan about the call. Milwaukee should have done a better job defending. Budenholzer was ridiculously dumb with his timeouts and lack thereof last night. But wow, yeah, Miami's
wild.
Miami's that scary team, and I know I got blasted last week on the YouTube, and I understand why when I said, "Man, I wish Miami was playing Boston," because I think they had a chance in that series, and people started blasting me. They have no chance against Boston. I understand you. I understand, man. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they don't match up as well against Boston as they did Milwaukee. But what Jimmy Butler is doing is just ridiculous right now.
Well, what it shows, Pat, is more along the lines of what I argued about 2 weeks ago, when people were like, "There's no way the Sixers could beat Boston. I can't look at any way the Sixers could beat Boston." The Atlanta Hawks have already beaten them twice and have a chance to beat them a 3rd time tonight. It was absolutely absurd that anybody would say the Sixers can't beat Boston. It's nonsense.
Well, the counter to that would be that the Atlanta Hawks don't have like a PTSD thing from Boston. I don't agree with that, but I think some people would say, yeah, well, Boston's not the Atlanta Hawks boogeyman like they are with the Sixers.
And I would say to those people, they're 10-9 in their last 19. They're 9-10 in their last 19 games against the Celtics. I mean, it's not like the Celtics.
Yeah, what's the Sixers in the last 19 games?
No, they are. They're 9-10. Sixers are 9-10.
Oh, well, you just said they. I mean,
that's what I'm saying about the Sixers. Is I would say to them,
you're confusing me here with your stats.
They're 9-10. The Celtics are not Michael Myers. The Celtics are not this boogeyman who constantly beats the Sixers. It's just a memory.
It just happened all last year.
It's that memory of this year they lose 3 out of 4.
Yeah, well,
wow.
that's Larry. Don't look at 9 out of 10. Look at this year. Like what happened this year.
Okay, I mean, I could look at.
I mean, last year. Look, you can look at 9 out of 10 and point to the stats and work it the way you want. This year's team is all that matters. Last year's team was different. They reconstructed their roster. So what did the Sixers do this year against Boston?
They were 1-3.
Yeah, and the one game was without Jaylen Brown.
And
I think there's some validity to people that are worried about Boston.
Well, being worried about them is fine. That's fine. Saying they have no shot to beat them is asinine.
Well,
it's asinine.
I think that's fans being fans.
Well,
that's just,
I'll be a better fan. I'll be a better fan than that.
What the hell do you know about being a better fan?
I'll be a better fan.
Yeah,
I'll actually believe them that they got a fan. I'll believe they got a chance to win. Yes.
This is the problem. This is why your draft stock fell yesterday.
Listen to Jamie's Daily Odds Pod. Jamie will be with us today because it's draft day. He's got his Daily Odds Pod dropping from Bet Parks, a 20-minute daily podcast where Jamie explores the lines and everything. And I know Jamie's going to be bouncing off the walls, Bobby.
I was at his house earlier this week, and even his 2 daughters were saying to me, they can barely talk. Well, Skylar's about 3 or 4 or whatever. She talks pretty well. And her first words to me, "Hi, Bob. Who are the Eagles drafting?"
Yeah.
And then little Paige, who's, just getting out dada and all that stuff, looked at me and said, Draft? Yeah, so that whole family's pumped up for tonight.
She can say
Bijan?
Jackson Smith and Jigba perfectly.
Bijan?
Yeah.
In the Morning Mindbender, Coach says, if you're looking for an easy way to burn calories, do this for 1 minute and burn over 26 calories each time. What is it? Pat, think of your honeymoon. Do this for 1 minute.
First of all, the honeymoon was 45 seconds.
And
Joke's on you.
And you're going to burn over 26 calories.
I would go with laugh.
Wow, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
I was going to say take the stairs.
I think you're burning more depending on how many stairs.
It's at 1 minute of stairs.
Do this for 1 minute. You can't hold your breath for a minute.
Would holding your
You can hold your breath for a minute.
Calories. That's
Who
tough.
can hold their breath for a minute? Batman?
I could probably hold my breath for 1 minute.
Well, you're sounding like Connor now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
I'll
You guys
say
don't think I can
jumping
hold my breath
jacks.
for a minute?
Not a chance.
I don't think there's any chance you can hold your breath for a minute.
All right.
Like, is there's
All right. How much money do you want to put on it?
I'll
Start throwing cash out.
I got
there,
20.
gentlemen.
I got $20
I'm
says
willing
you
to
can't.
pass
I
out.
got $20 says you
Okay.
can't.
All right.
So
Okay.
we
We
will.
want to do this during a break or something? Like what?
No, on the air.
We
I'm
can't-
sure
we
it'll
can't
make
do
for
it-
good
yeah,
air.
Yeah,
Silence
exactly.
for a minute.
It'll be the worst on-air thing in the
Well, I
world.
mean, we're on YouTube. I want to see it pass out.
My God.
1 minute. That's tough, Pat.
I don't think so. I used to practice it in grade school.
What about
That was
swimming?
a couple
Did you
years
do that?
ago.
Yeah, well,
In swimming, can you do that?
no. In swimming, I'd panic and drown.
You would.
Yeah, I don't handle that stuff well.
Oh,
it's
Connor
different.
Connor can hold his
Connor,
for 2
yeah.
minutes.
If you
we
can't
just got-
hold your
you
breath
can.
for a minute, go to the doctor.
Yeah, we just
That's
got the
ridiculous
note from
because
Connor, yeah.
that's.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't be, struggling a little bit, but I think I can get a solid 110.
All right. I got no problem doing this at some point if you want.
Well, okay. So I'm glad that you don't
No,
have
I
any
mean, I'll
problem
time
doing
you.
this.
I didn't say I could do it. You did.
How much money are you offering up there, Bobby?
I said
don't have any
20.
money.
I said I'll put 20 on it.
Yeah, all right.
That's
So
it,
John's got 20 and you've got none?
I
There
got.
you
I'm
go.
the timer.
He's
Oh,
the
geez.
timer.
You're
He's
a
using
coward
his
is what you are.
electricity.
You're a
to be
I'll give you
Howard.
mouth to mouth if you pass out. How about that?
Oh, well,
Hey,
then-
wait a minute. Now he's motivated.
Yeah, that's just incentive to pass out.
Devon and Tyrone bringing the draft show tonight
Do we have an answer to this
on
thing?
97.5 The Fanatic.
Yeah, what's the answer to this thing?
Coach, what is it?
All great
Oh,
answers.
kiss our asses.
Oh, that's it. Kiss our ass for 1 minute.
Actually, you're not half wrong. It
What?
was passionate kissing for 1 minute will burn 26 calories
All right.
per minute.
I think I know
John
why,
and
though.
Bob,
So-
get on it.
Yeah, if
I think I
Patton-
know why. It's your because your heart rate gets very elevated.
All the
It's
blood
a
rushes somewhere.
very exciting thing. You're having hot makeout session.
All right, can we,
Calories are being burned.
It
Look
is
at Bob.
draft night.
Bob's like, well, let's look at the
I don't need you talking about
Jackson
passionate kisses
Jackson
at
Smith
6:12 in the
Jing
morning.
Bing. The NFL draft has arrived. By the way, Phillies won last night.
I'll tell you what,
6-5.
I like that win last night.
That was a very nice win.
Yeah, the bats look good. They look confident that they were going to come back in that game. Little concerning that Taijuan Walker had to leave with some forearm stiffness or whatever they called it. Ricky Bo didn't seem to be too upset about it after the game. So hopefully it's nothing big. But clutch hits, right? Big bats coming through, mostly singles. I think they only had one extra base hit on the night, and that was Castellanos hitting another home run in the first. But yeah, I enjoyable win. Very enjoyable win.
Nick Castellanos continues to, Pat, everything we talked about in spring training. Could he be the guy that they thought they were getting? And he has been, and he has delivered over and over again.
Yeah, he's very, very dialed in right now.
great.
It's beautiful to see. It's amazing because no matter where his bat angle is, where he's putting the bat on the ball, he's just finding a spot where the fielder isn't. Where last year it was strikeout, line out, fly out. Like he was just finding different ways to record an out. It was frustrating. And this year it looks like the total opposite. He's crushing the ball.
It is, and another one, too, is let's praise this bullpen.
Yeah.
That continues to, there was a huge decision to load up on the bullpen. I think after Dave Dombrowski saw what Houston did last year to us and having so many arms, and again, Craig Kimbrell is just at lights out, and Alvarado is he's just a nasty.
He hasn't walked anybody yet.
Yeah, and I thought it might be difficult for Kimbrell, a lifetime closer, to come in and maybe not have that role here because you had Alvarado, you had Dominguez. It was probably, we all talked about it might be by committee, the closer. But it looks like he's settled into his role. His last 7 outings, I think he's been pretty much untouchable.
Scoreless. He has not let up anything. He is on a run right now of scoreless stings. He had an 81 ERA after the first game.
Yeah. Somebody had Infinity Soto, I believe, or whatever.
It was absolutely terrible. He got it down to 27. He's got it down to 4.5 now.
Yeah. And Alvarado, that's fun.
Alvarado's awesome.
That is fun. And that means a lot. When you close out a game with a fun guy who is all into it in game number 25.
Yeah, he went nuts yesterday.
I think he's this is money stuff with this bullpen
nasty
right
man.
now. Yeah.
He is nasty.
My big takeaway from the win wasn't necessarily right away the comeback. It was the job the bullpen did. I mean, they come in, they give 5 innings and no runs and just stymie the Mariners' offense completely and allowed the Phillies' offense to get back into it. So, yeah, I think what you said, John, is very accurate. The bullpen is playing out just like Dave Dombrowski thought it would. And it's only going to get better.
It should get better. Plus warmer weather, right?
Yeah, Strahm he'll be pushed to the bullpen.
Boost. Yes.
Nick Nelson, their long man, just started a rehab assignment. He's in Reading, so he'll be back. So you've got reinforcements in the bullpen coming as well.
Well, we think about Strahm, but now we have another injured pitcher. We don't know what the injury is, but last night you lose your starting pitcher due to arm tightness.
Yeah,
that's exactly what
forearm. Suarez.
That is exactly what Suarez had.
Yeah, Ricky, it was funny last night. I don't usually, because there's so many sporting events going on right now, analytic stuff, I don't usually stay on a whole lot because there's so many other things going on. But last night I caught Ricky, and he was talking about the injury, and for some reason with Taijuan Walker, he did not seem concerned all that much at all. I think it's something, and there may have been. Maybe Walker said something after the game, or maybe something was said that I didn't catch. But, yeah, Ricky didn't seem all that upset about it or saying, watch out for this. So, fingers crossed everything's all right with him, because you need this start, as great as the bullpen is, you need your starters just to start getting into a 5-man rhythm.
And that was, though, the one thing I will say is they're saying the same exact thing they said about Ranger Suarez. That's what just gives me a little thing. Plus the World Baseball Classic pitcher injuries, which seemed to be an actual thing. And now it's you hope that doesn't come into play for the Phillies this year. Hey, your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. You can learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Phillies have afternoon baseball today down at Citizens Bank Park. I'm going to get down for that one. Should be a good one. Looking forward to that. And we'll talk more as the NFL draft. I want to take you back to last year in Vegas this morning. We'll get to it next. John Kincade Show. Here
back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Jamie Lynch will join us later on this morning as it's draft day, which is one of his national holidays. He's recorded the Daily Odds Pod for Bet Parks, his daily podcast, the lines, the upcoming games, all the fun. Downloaded Bet Parks Sportsbook app. Jamie's Daily Odds Pod is available for you. Get on out and check that out. He's having a lot of fun with the project. We'll have a lot of fun with Jamie coming up. I take you back to just a year ago. Coach was seeing it in pictures where it was draft day and we were out in Las Vegas. And little did we know anything that was going to happen as far as what kind of moves were going to be made. There was no mention on the day of the draft. Never once did A.J. Brown's name come up. And A.J. Brown was the highlight of that night. It's also the night that Joel Embiid got his face broken, but we're not going to get into that part of it. But no one was talking about the Eagles making a bold move and going and getting A.J. Brown and then having him signed to a 4-year, $100 million extension the minute that they, went out and got him. And it was one of those jaw-dropping moments that really defined a night. Everything was up in the air that morning.
Yeah.
And nobody was expecting that.
No, we were looking at, okay, are you going to get a Kyle Hamilton? Or are they going to go fatties up front, which they ultimately did? We said, Howie could do this. He might do that. It was kind of like, I don't know, reserved anxiousness, I guess we could call it.
We expected a trade back of one of the picks.
Yeah.
That was very, very common that we were like, okay, they're going to trade back one of the picks. And little did we know they were going to trade it for something. And that a player like A.J. Brown it was even available. But it really just goes to the fact that you don't know what Howie Roseman's doing. And I think that when the day dawns today and we start our day today, we have no idea what Howie's going to do. And he is the master of not only manipulating what he's doing, it's very veiled, it's very hidden, it's very stealth, but he can surprise us and create a lot of unexpected moments on draft night.
Yes, he can.
Are you expecting unexpected moments tonight? Like the A.J. Brown.
Expecting unexpected.
Yes, like the A.J. Brown thing was completely unexpected.
Yes, it was.
Do you expect that tomorrow we will be saying, wow, didn't see that coming? Howie pulled another rabbit out of his hat.
Yeah.
Something we haven't even discussed, a player or whatever that we haven't even discussed.
It would have to be a pretty big rabbit because we've talked about trading up. We've talked about trading back. We talked about what it would take to trade up, what they could get trading back. We've done all the numbers through everything. We've talked endlessly about draft guys 1 through 30. It would be really hard to come in tomorrow, I think, to say, oh, my God, he did it again. He pulled a rabbit out of his hat. I don't know. Does he make a trade? Does a Dalvin Cook come here? Something like that. It's been talked about, so it wouldn't be totally unexpected.
Well, it would be unexpected because none of the guys who cover the team seem to think that he is in any way, the Eagles are in any way doing a deal like that or a Derrick Henry. But those two things are not happening. The guys who cover it 24/7 don't seem to be buying into any of that talk.
Right, but it's been thrown out there. So then it would be like, oh my God, we did hear of that. We didn't hear of A.J. Brown at all.
No,
not
never
at all.
Once.
No. So I think it's going to be really hard for Howie to pull a rabbit out of a hat that we didn't expect. But would it surprise you? Probably not.
Would it be, Pat, could the move that surprises us could be Howie accumulating even more draft capital for next year?
I don't even think that would surprise us, though. We've talked about it.
Do you believe that maybe he would say, you know what, I'm going to load up for the 2024 draft?
Wouldn't surprise me at all. No, if he wanted to kind of kick the can down the road a little bit. We didn't know. For a while, I thought that was kind of going to be their plan before we knew what the parameters were for the Jalen Hurts contract. but it's very team friendly in terms of cap hit. So
Sure.
it kind of leaves them wide open if they want to decide to accumulate assets for next year, or if they want to go out and kind of make a splash like they did last year.
You think there'd be any disappointment tonight if Howie took one of the first round picks and turned it into a number one for next year?
Disappointment? No, not at all.
Like from the fan base, they'd be like,
I don't think so.
especially a fan base that overwhelmingly it seems like the number one name that fans want them to come away with tonight is Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, it was funny. I was listening yesterday, and a lot of people are saying his name, and Marcus Hayes has something in the paper today saying Bijan or bust. And
Was Marcus positive about it?
Yeah, has it become just a name that everybody's leeching onto that don't really believe it, but just like want to jump on a bandwagon of that?
Like the new
I don't
age
know.
Ricky Williams.
Well, that was such a different thing. And I swear, when people bring that up, and none of us has, and I haven't heard anybody on our station, but I think it's so, I don't want to say ignorant because I think that's too easy a word. To compare the two is ridiculous when the team needed a quarterback that year. So it wasn't like you're just saying, oh, grab a running back.
No.
They needed a quarterback.
They needed a quarterback.
So you don't need a quarterback right now. Bijan would be just an added commodity to an already beautiful car. Do you need that? No, but it's a luxury you could get. They needed a quarterback back then. That's why it was such a controversy between quarterback and running back.
They had Doug Peterson.
Yeah,
Good
that's all
point.
it is.
Very good point.
They had one.
Let me ask you this right now, and this is in regards to Bijan Robinson, and it is it not their greatest position upgrade potential? If they brought in Bijan Robinson, would it not be if you take the 22-man roster right now? Where are there other opportunities for someone to crack the lineup? The starters are pretty much laid out for you. Would Bijan Robinson not be the biggest immediate upgrade that you could go get? If they get Jalen Carter's maybe not starting. He might not be a starter.
I mean, your edge rushers seem to be set.
So you're not so the way I'm looking at it is everybody's talking about this like Bijan Robinson, like it's some crazy talk, the detractors of making that move. I think it's the number one position where you could draft somebody and you could upgrade what you've got right now.
I think that's a pretty good way of putting it, yeah.
It is. Jackson Smith and Jigba out of the slot would be an upgrade over Quez.
That is
He would
correct.
start, but I mean that's a third wide receiver.
Yeah.
So to your point,
It's not the starting running back.
linebacker maybe.
Yeah, I think
But is there
linebacker
somebody?
could.
Yeah, but is there somebody that you get that's going to make a difference, like a Bijan Robinson?
No, there's not a linebacker in this draft that
Yeah,
somebody's
just talking
saying
this out. This is an interesting point, John.
that take him like that. Because I looked at the 22 yesterday because I'm a dork, and I just sat there and said, okay, Bijan Robinson. He would be the biggest upgrade to the starting 22 depth chart that you could get. There's nobody else. I mean, if you draft a corner, and by the way, I do believe that corner is something that Howie's going to be interested in, even though he's brought back the two veterans. But to me, I'm looking at it and saying, hey, Bijan is the guy that immediately upgrades your 22 depth chart better than any player that's available in this draft.
Safety?
Not
Is
a
there
bad
that?
one.
So Branch
But
is
who is-
probably the highest
the
rated
problem.
safety, and he's only going back in first round.
And he's-
Exactly.
And you
Yeah.
could get him with this. You might be able to get Branch with the second pick.
The other positions that's not a good draft for.
Yeah.
So I mean, Bijan would be, I guess, your best option.
So I mean, because it really just makes it that if you're Howie Roseman, if we know this morning, Howie Roseman knows it, right? Howie knows it, and everybody can talk about you don't draft a running back in the first round, you don't do this, whatever it is. But Howie Roseman knows the best way.
Roseman doesn't know what he's doing.
That's the truth, Adam. Let's think about that. The best way to upgrade your 22-man depth chart is to draft Bijan Robinson tonight.
And with that, looking at the study I did like a month ago where I listed all the first-round backs that were taken, in previous years and all of those things, people would say, look at the teams that drafted a running back high. Did they win Super Bowls? No. Great point. But were any of those running backs that were drafted this high going to teams
that was in the Super Bowl last year. It's a
that were this good.
It's a ridiculous. I heard this the other day.
I think it would be such a cool toy.
I heard it on the best show ever the other day that they were saying, "What? Look at these guys who were drafted in the first round. These running backs. They didn't win anything. They didn't come to a team. None of them were drafted into a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. That's an NFC champion. That was 14-3, mainly because of the fact that they took the foot off the gas. I mean, it's a ridiculous comparison to me to say because the Eagles are not the teams that have drafted running backs in the first round before. This is a completely different team. And so with saying about a number of these running backs, they didn't win anything, that's because they went to crap teams. And by the way, I do believe Atlanta is a danger at 8 to take him. Because I do believe that Arthur Johnson, the FedEx heir, wouldn't mind being able to run the brakes off of Bijan Robinson. He that 1970s Tennessee offense, that he ran before becoming the Falcons coach. I think that's the biggest danger. If you were interested in Bijan, he could jump off the board at 8. They might decide to do that. He loves to run the ball. If he could hand off the ball 25 times to a back, even 26, 27 times, he'd do it. And so just part of it.
That's a team that has so many holes.
Oh my God! But I think
that's a team, real quick, John, where the narrative that you just stated fits perfectly.
Absolutely.
You don't want to take a running back when you need so many things. A running back isn't going to bring you anywhere closer to a Super Bowl if you're Atlanta. I think I don't think that'll be on their top of their draft board.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you help Desmond Ridder, though. Do you help out a young quarterback by bringing in a workhorse back?
By bringing in maybe a freak tight end wide receiver hybrid. Maybe top 10, maybe even top 5 that you can't figure out how to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Help out your quarterback.
Fitz will be all right. Don't you worry.
It's incredible. Arthur Smith could not figure out how to use the guy last year. He might look to get a weapon. I mean, he got Drake London last year for him, and
I didn't like it, Pat. Up. Though the way that to me that I never liked the Tennessee offense when Tennessee was winning and even getting the top seed. Tennessee Titans football to me is boring and not innovative.
It reminds me
was
a
part
little bit of Ravens. Or a Ravens Steelers game. Yeah, it's old school football.
It's going to be 13-10.
Grind it out. Yeah. Giving your running back 35 carries a game. I know what you mean.
It just, to me, it's not something that really catches my interest. Hey, in Cooney's Corner, Bob wants to look at next year's draft.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
It's funny. There's last night as I'm looking just through some more draft stuff, it came into my head, wait, let's look at next year and see where the Eagles draft. They have a lot of pretty good picks next year again, too.
A 1, right?
A 1, 2 2s.
And 2 3s?
Yes. It's amazing all the things they have. They have, if I'm not mistaken, and we were talking about this yesterday, 5 of the top 100 picks next year. I mean, you could be coming off a Super Bowl year, have your normal pick, which is number 30 this year, and the rest of the picks that you have, and then say next year's, you really can stock up again next year, and that would be great. Oh, wait, I forgot to throw in. They have the number 10 overall pick, too, this year. This is amazing how much draft stock that they have right now. So my question to you guys is, and we haven't done this much, but I wonder if Howie and them are doing it, or if you guys would do it if you were in the position, how much does next year affect what you do this year? Now, next year, like I said, 5 in the top 100, a lot of picks. You're going to have some holes to fill. We know what they are. You're going to have to replace some veterans, back up some veterans, whatever it is. Does that change what you do this year? Do you say, man, one win away from winning the Super Bowl, let's have fun this year, and next year we can worry about doing the old fill the trenches and get the backup for this guy, Does it affect you at all?
It does for me, because I believe next year we could be sitting here on draft night saying Cox, Graham.
What are we going to see saying?
But if you're saying Cox and Graham are gone, and one of the corners is gone, and I think the Slade deal they could get out of after a year.
I don't think they will, though.
Yeah,
Well, performance is going to be big with him this year. Let's not forget that. Yeah,
and I think Kelsey will be gone. I think that's a 1 year comeback for. Even though you've got guys who are in the trend, like ready to go that potentially can step in, then you've got to replace that guy on the roster. I think next year is going to be a huge draft, like a huge to whether they can sustain this thing to go on for a long term. I wouldn't think Howie would mind adding a few more chances to make sure he gets things right next year.
So how would you turn this year? Is it a luxury draft where, all right, we have pretty much, everybody, there's holes to fill. My column will be about this a little bit later. There's some holes to fill, but, man, we were so close last year. Let's just, add to that. Let's do the luxury. And, yeah, this all goes to Bijan Robinson.
It's hard, yes. I mean, it's hard to make this decision about what you do. I think this year is a go for it. I think the 10th pick from New Orleans, and I know, Pat, you've talked about it before. I think this is like finding a lottery ticket on the street. Mm-hmm. And I would want to trade back a bit because there are going to be teams that are looking to trade up right around that number. And I would trade back, and I would absolutely grab Bijan Robinson and be very happy with it. And then try to do whatever I had to do to go and get a guy like Branch to add to my secondary or something like that later on in the first round.
Yeah.
It changes it for me a little bit. Like, I would use next year like the Eagles did in 2002, where they took Lito and Sheldon 1-2.
Yes.
They already had Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent. They let those guys learn under those great cornerbacks for 2 years before they kind of ushered them in the starting rotation. And you could basically do the same thing next year if you wanted to, because you got Slay and Bradbury both on, I think, 3-year contracts. So after this year, it would be 2 years, and you could kind of bring them along slowly, which would be a rarity because I think a lot of times corner and quarterback are two positions you get thrown in the fire and you got to sink or swim, and it can do really like a big damage to your psyche if you fail. And I think it would benefit a lot of times if they just sat back for a year and kind of watched and learned. So for me, I probably want to address cornerback this year. I would love to get more assets for next year. The idea of drafting Bijan 10 just doesn't sit well with me.
No.
The idea of trading back and drafting Bijan and getting an asset does sit.
What's your number?
Fine.
What's your number, though? And what's the asset?
632.
No. And what's the number you want? So, like, if you're talking about getting an asset.
So if it's for a quarter, if the team that's looking to trade is for a quarterback, I want their number 1 next year because they're desperate.
All right.
I would take 2 this year, 2 next year.
Okay.
Depending on how far I'm dropping back to.
And how far would you be willing to drop back? What's your number?
20s. Yeah, I'd have no problem dropping the 20s.
I think he's gone by the 20s.
I agree with you, but I'd have no problem dropping back to the 20s and then trading up to the back teens if you have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be any further back than, say, 18.
I don't want to be back further than 16.
So if you go from 10 to 22, get a whole bunch of assets.
Oh, you would get a bunch of assets.
And
then move back up to 18. It's not going to cost you much.
I think Detroit would take Bijan Robinson potentially.
With
I
Swift?
think, yeah, I do. I really do. And I think the Lions are going to be a problem. I think they are building a team that is going to be a problem in the NFC.
Half their team just got suspended for gambling on sports.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about that.
I have a read for Bet Parks coming up. Could you please stop that?
I apologize.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Apologize.
Hey, here is one thing I'm absolutely going to be pissed at tonight, though. If it's 11:30 and Howie makes a trade at 11:30 and they trade out of the first round and I'm sitting
And you
downstairs,
sat up to watch it?
and I'm like, I have to watch it because the draft's too big. Like I will, and I may be laying on the couch watching it where I'm resting and relaxing. But if I stay up till 11:30, 11:40, it's the second to the last pick, and Howie trades that pick, waits till then to trade it, I am going to be pissed.
I remember when they did that with Goddard, when they traded. They had the last pick, obviously, because they won the Super Bowl. That was cool. And they traded out. They gave the Ravens the pick to draft Lamar Jackson.
And you stayed up?
Yeah, I was here. I was working.
Oh, okay.
But it was just such a buzzkill of, all right, well, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, that sucked.
We waited.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we could see that tonight, too. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Don't do it to me. Don't do it, Howie.
Well, as long as you get one pick, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Well, if you told me if we get Bijan Robinson tonight, I honestly, I may dance out in the street.
Well, if they trade back to, like, say, that 20 spot, don't get Robinson, get somebody else that they like. I think they hold on to 30 and maybe they get the Diggs kid.
Okay.
I do think they might address running back
Diggs
tonight.
is fine. The only thing I worry about with him, and watching a lot of SEC football, I worry about his size, and I worry about the durability factor in there. That he's a little small, but he may be. He is just as versatile a weapon. I just wonder whether physically he will hold up as well as Bijan could hold up. So whatever happens, we'll find out tonight. Devon and Tyrone will have it for you here on The Fanatic. You can be listening in all day long. You have some thoughts you want to share with us on as draft morning is as dawned? You can at 610-632-0975.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know, Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. You can explore more at your local Staples store. Appreciate you being a part of the show and everything. So teaching is over, Bob. It is over. Till next spring.
If they have you back, they're still.
Teaching.
We'll
find out the rate your professor thing. See how that turns out.
Yeah, I think they're going to have long meetings that will be surrounded by the you.
That they'll bring it all in.
The conversation will all be about you and your performance.
And they'll decide whether it's...
I got a call yesterday from somebody at Temple asking for my my draft profile of you. So I apologize in advance if it doesn't help.
Thanks,
we'll see
Bob.
how it plays out.
Pat didn't submit his, or did he? Did you submit one to the...
Pat submitted it for all the world to see.
For the rate your
on
professor?
Yeah, you're
Twitter
screwed,
thing.
I can't wait to see
screwed. You had a good 1 year. Well, actually, it wasn't even a year. You had a good one
good semester. I can't wait to see the rate your professor, though. See how it all turned out. Because we didn't have that. Like, we didn't have the go online, rate your professor type
We
of
didn't have
thing.
online. That's why.
We had the last night, though, the final exam. They attended my memorial service. That was our final exam last night. But
and what did they have to do?
They had to get up in class, and it was like a eulogy. And you had to stand up there, and you had to talk about something. My last dying wish was that they would each talk about something individually that they learned in the class that we covered in class and be able to explain it in front of their peers and just say, hey, remember when he taught us this? And so the person who gets, and it was a random selection, so the person who goes first obviously has the entire semester of material to choose from.
Let's talk more about me.
And they then had to, it wasn't about me, it was about the material that they learned.
It's a memorial service for you.
Yeah, but it wasn't what that was.
About you.
No, that wasn't what it was. It was
you
what
can word it however you want, but
it was
if
what
you
did,
do a fake memorial service, it's about you.
It was what did they learn in the semester? They had to talk about, be able to explain it. And I was floored at how really good they did. Because like 16, 17 kids in, then you get where you don't want to repeat stuff, and you got to come up with something a little bit different.
You have to say more good things, different good things about the teacher.
No, it wasn't about the teacher. It was about the material that you had to cover. And they were really smart. They did a really good job. So congratulations to the kids.
For behind-the-scenes people, I know we joke and stuff. The amount of time and effort and fun that you had doing what you did with these kids is really admirable.
It was fun.
And you would hope that, you know, the people out there that are doing similar jobs have as much passion for it as you did.
It was fun. It was a good time, and I look forward to doing it next spring. If they have it back, I'll see. We will do.
Your contract is being talked about.
We will look at the rate.
Speak.
We will look at the rate. We'll review the rate your professor online. We can review it right here on the show when it comes in. I just don't. I don't know how quickly it comes in. Joe on a cell joins us. Joe, it's draft night. How pumped are you?
I'm really pumped, fellas. I'm really pumped, man. I think this is a luxury draft. This is what I think with Howie. Like his philosophy, yes, we do sandbag linemen. You added A.J. Smith, you put him with your rookie receiver.
A.J. Brown, yeah.
A.J. Brown. You added A.J. Brown. You put him with Devontae. We're in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I don't think you can forget that aspect of, you know what I mean? We took a receiver 2 years in a row. I think with a player like Robinson, the way he described, to me it's like, well, say this is the 80s. What if Bill Walsh said, let's add maybe we could get Barry Sanders to go with Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. We still might win 4 Super Bowls. We might win 6 like Tom Brady. I think it's that kind of effect on the way this team is built. I think him will be here as a weapon, a guy that you know that's going to touch the ball 15 to 20 times. I think that's good enough for a first round. But I do think if, he seemed like he's going from 10 to 15, if you could move back and get something and still was able to draft him, I would take the 30 pick and try to move up. I'm saying with this window we got, I think we need to add people who can play right away and, add as many, guys that's ready to get on the field and do something for us. I would like to move.
I like your thinking, Joe. And I hope, I wish I could give you Howie's number because I like his thinking. This team is really close, knocking on the door. And if you talk about windows of opportunity, I really don't want to talk about 3-5 years down the line. I want to talk about tonight.
We
I want
are
to talk
an
about this
impatient
team.
society. We want immediate answers. We don't want to wait. We don't want to plan for future. It's an immediacy that overrules society now. Hopefully that's sinking into Howie on my outlook in that, go ahead. I was thinking about this. I told you guys many, many times that my ultimate good night on the draft would they move back from 10, secure some assets, still be able to get Bijan in the late teens.
Right.
And then I added on to it last night.
What was that?
I would like one of the top 2 tight ends at number 30. Stay at 30 and get one of the top 2 tight ends. Now, the kid Mayer from Notre Dame might be gone because he's rated as the top, but the kid from Utah, which has a weird last name that I can't pronounce or it won't come out of
Kincade. Yeah, Kincade.
Yeah, something like that.
You can't go wrong with the Kincade.
I think it would be cool if you did that. If you
Screw you.
That was a softball.
Well, that was low-hanging fruit, so it was right in your reach.
The only fruit I can reach.
There it was.
I just see myself coming out of it going, oh, my God, Howie's going to just make this offense unbelievable.
Oh, it would be great. It would be.
And then you can plug. Then you can plug all the other things that you need, and there are things. But I don't know. I think I'd go into this with a fantasy football mentality type tonight if I'm Howie Roseman.
I go into this thinking, Pat, too, is that when Dallas Goedert got injured and missed the month, late November into December, the tight end position was a black hole of nothing. So I think Bob may be onto something.
Yeah, I got to give credit to a guy we're to talk to tomorrow, Zach Berman. Zach was the one who, the first one I saw point this out of when they took Dallas Goedert in the second round. Zach Ertz was younger than Dallas Goedert is right now. So they'd already planned kind of to have a 2 tight end set, but also an eye on the future of what happens when we move on from Zach Ertz. I'm not saying they're going to move on from Dallas Goedert, but I do think that was a little troubling to them of our number 1 tight end who plays a very physical style goes down, and all we had was Jack Stoll and Grant Calcaterra. Luckily, the offense was good enough to kind of, you don't have to worry about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they took a tight end round 2, round 3, pretty high.
And either one of those guys, by the way, the top 2 tight ends, either one of them can be split out too, can be a slot. They could go work as a slot receiver.
Oh, yeah.
You can do so many different things with them.
Yeah.
And so Howie has to be contemplating.
I got to tell you, I would be laughing my ass off on my couch tonight if Howie goes running back tight end. Last night when I was thinking about it, I almost got giddy.
I like Giddy.
And you know me,
like
I don't get all that giddy on
I
a
like
weeknight.
Giddy, though.
I wouldn't be all that shocked, though, if they did. I don't like the idea of your
If
backup
they went 2
tight
offense
end.
guys, you wouldn't be shocked?
I wouldn't be. He's so unpredictable. I don't know if anything would really surprise me other than a move like an A.J. Brown last year because it was for an established player that we just didn't even know was available. That's really the only thing. It's what Bob talked about earlier. We talked about pretty much every scenario. I wouldn't be all that surprised. It does make sense. You need a running back, although I don't know about drafting on 10. But you also need to have another tight end on the roster. I don't like the idea of having Grant Calcaterra being my backup tight end, a guy that retired from football at one point for concussions. I mean, one big knock and he's done, and he was a 5th-round pick anyway. The Tyree Jackson experiment hasn't really bared fruit yet, and I doubt it ever really will at this point. Jack Stoll, okay, nice blocking tight end, but, pass catching wise leaves a lot to be desired. They do need a backup tight end, and I think a lot of teams go with 2 tight end sets. It makes sense.
The 7 o'clock hour of the John Kincade Show is brought to you by Bet Parks, the official local casino partner of your Philadelphia 76ers. You got to be 21 in Pennsylvania or Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We talked about at the beginning of the show today. The Sixers will open on Monday night. Whether they open at home or on the road is yet to be determined. But tonight, as you are watching the draft, flip on over and let's watch, hopefully, Trae Young force a Game 7. That would be awesome to see Boston push to a Game 7. And the Knicks are in. The Heat are in. So 2 of the top 4 seeds are gone in the Eastern Conference. And it's
One
an
of the
unpredictable. 2 of the 4.
2 of the 4. I'm sorry. Yeah,
2 of the
you're right.
4.
Cleveland 4.
1 and 4 are gone.
Yeah, it's
And 2 is on the ropes. If they lose tonight, they are absolutely on the ropes. They could.
if they lose tonight, they're on the ropes. Yeah,
Yes.
I still think they have a stranglehold on the series.
I think they're going to win tonight.
Yeah,
But if they don't,
I'd be more surprised if they lost than if it. I don't know. This is weird. You talk about nerdy. I rewatched a lot of that game yesterday.
and
And
what'd you say?
Boston's defense was horrendous. I mean, really bad. They were getting beat by easy high pick and rolls, and that's what Atlanta does. They love to do that with Trey Young, when he's not pulling up from 40. They like to run that little pick and roll with him, and then he's either alley-ooping or throwing up floaters in the lane. But even on the last play where he hit the 40-footer, now it's almost nonsensical to cover a guy as hard as you can with the ball from 40 feet out. So Jaylen Brown's backing up. Marcus Smart is just about to run over and double him when he pulls up from 40 and hits it. So you kind of look at it and say, I gave up a 40-foot shot. Are you going to blame me for that? Probably not. But I just thought that Boston's defense was very suspect the other night, and that surprised the hell out of me.
Boston not having a good little playoff run here, Pat, because the Bruins go down. I saw that one go down last night.
Oh, yeah, that's don't play the puck if you're
Wow.
Yeah, the goaler didn't do a good job there, Pat.
Holmberg just decided, you know what, I think I'd like to extend this series a little bit.
That's wouldn't that be nice? I'd love to see Boston go down in flames.
That would
In
The
any
hockey
sport.
team?
Yes, I'm fine with
Yeah,
it.
I'd like to
Yes.
see both.
I'd love to see
Hockey,
both go down.
basketball.
Hockey, basketball. Then the baseball team will be in next week. We can kick their ass.
Yeah, they're not very good. That baseball team sucks.
Yeah, you should be able to take care of them
Yeah,
next
they're
week,
really,
too.
really bad.
So good news. Good news, though, is that Boston struggles, where they were planning a double parade for the Bruins and the Celtics. Yes, they've been planning, already talking in the Boston papers about both of them winning a championship this spring. And
In fairness to them,
they're both good teams.
they're both good teams, but also when you're Boston, they haven't had a parade in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. They're
Probably
just
been
poor
3-4 years. I don't
poor
know.
kids.
So they're probably like, well, we're due.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily blame them for having that mindset.
Yeah, and of course, with the Bruins, you should be planning a parade.
I was up in Boston for a Sixers game, and I was walking down to the arena. I love to take my walks. And there was snow on the ground and stuff like that. And I was about to cross the street, and I'm waiting for the light, and I just, kicked the snow or whatever. And underneath, there was red and blue confetti because the Patriots had their parade 3 or 4 days before. And I was like, screw you,
Oh,
Boston.
my gosh, you saw the confetti.
Yeah. I was like, get out of here. Yeah.
All right, take yourselves back. Pat, I want to give you first shot at this. Think about Eagles drafts of the past.
Okay.
Tell me a guy that you wanted the Eagles to draft that ended up being a total disaster and you're glad they didn't, but you wanted him. Or if you can think conversely of a guy that the Eagles drafted that you didn't want them to draft that ended up being a success. So this is two things you got wrong.
I could think of some right away. So Dexter McCluster, one of that dude's so bad.
Oh, my gosh.
The running
Loved
back
him.
from
Loved
Ole
him.
Miss. He was a Brian Westbrook clone. Andy ended up grabbing him in Kansas City his first year in KC. The Eagles apparently really, really wanted him too. And Andy jumped them to grab Dexter McCluster, but he was a kind of a do-it-all back. I thought he was a stud. Eagles end up getting Nate Allen, I believe, in the second round that year.
Wow.
But I was so mad when Dexter McCluster went off the board because I just thought you were getting a Brian Westbrook hybrid or a clone, and he just never ended up panning out. The guy that I was pissed that they drafted that ended up becoming something was Brandon Graham.
And you've talked about this one before, is that I don't remember being pissed by it,
Oh,
but I remember but I remember thinking that they made the wrong pick.
I was more pissed, not necessarily at Brandon Graham, but at the guy that they passed on. which was Earl Thomas. And I've talked to people that were in NovaCare that day, and the person told me when they traded up, we all thought it was Earl Thomas.
That's what it was for.
So, and I was so Earl Thomas up. I was
okay.
I mean, I was putting tweets out of it. If they end up working and move and ended up getting Earl Thomas, I'm getting his jersey right then and there. So they trade up. I'm getting texts from buddies like, "Go get your jersey." And I'm so excited. And then Shefty comes on and says they're taking Brandon Graham. And initially, it didn't look like it panned out because he had a rough go of it his first 3 or 4 years. But, man, he's become an all-time great for this franchise, and I was very wrong about him.
Got to tell you, I knew him back at Georgia, Bob, and was so excited that they drafted Reggie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Because I enjoyed Reggie. I thought Reggie was going to be a solid receiver for this organization for a long time, like a 8-9 year guy.
Well,
that they could count on. He didn't.
He looked good.
He didn't love the sport enough.
He looked good until he got paid.
Correct.
And as soon as he got that contract, he just evaporated.
He was cerebral, Pat, as a college kid. He was so sort of like he didn't have the attitude of a college kid, like he was a 40-year-old man about being dependable and all this kind of stuff and riding his bike. And all. I totally bought in. And I thought, man, they cashed in with Reggie Brown. And I couldn't have been more wrong on that.
He was a high second round because they got him with the pick they got
35
from
35,
Miami, right? For AJ Feely.
And there were a lot of people wanted him. I mean, it wasn't like he was right. It wasn't like he was a outlandish pick, but
no, he looked like he was going to be good. I think he probably topped out at like 800 yards, and then they gave him that contract extension, and he just
fell apart.
He sucked. I'll give you another one. Winston Justice, when they took him in the second round, because they were talking about taking him in the first round, and then he slipped to them in the second round, and I was over the moon. I was doing happy dances and stuff, and
happy dances.
Yeah, I was.
Pumped. I like happy dances,
Bobby. I was pumped, and then he didn't really pan out.
What about you, Bobby?
I'll tell you the one that I loved, and that because I had interviewed the guy and gotten to know him a little bit, was Brian Westbrook. I loved when they took him. It was
but
one of those
wrong
things
on him though.
No, that's one I was. There's been so many wrong ones. The most recent one, the most that gave me so much emotion that I literally screamed. I remember where I was saying, "What the hell are you doing?" Was your starting quarterback when they took Jalen Hurts at number 2? I was like, what the hell is going on here?
That's a great one.
Thought it was the most stupid pick in the history of picks. You had your starting quarterback. He was going to be your franchise. We all knew it. Why you used a number 2 as a backup just floored me. Look how wrong I was on that one, John.
Well, I think all of us were, because even though the night of the draft, I was like, I don't think people watched. The people that were complaining on Eagles Twitter about Jalen Hurts, I was like, I think I put out a tweet saying, like, you didn't watch this guy play in college.
Hey, that's not the point, though. He was my favorite player. I've told you this many times.
You did.
He was my favorite player his senior year to watch in college. The point wasn't how good he was or you didn't watch him. I think a lot of people watch. You didn't need it. Yeah. You didn't think you needed it.
Well,
you had your starting quarterback.
Well, if the Eagles thought they needed it,
do you think it was more smartness or luck? Do you think they had read into what Carson Wentz was?
Yeah, I think they had doubts about Wentz.
Okay.
I think it's the only explanation as to why they made that draft pick. They didn't trust him.
I think that was part of it. But remember, when they made the draft pick, the narrative that they were spinning was, well, you need a good you need a quarterback factory, and we can use him as kind of a Taysom Hill like. And
they weren't going to tell you what their real intentions were.
Well, I understand that. But that I can only go on I mean, you're the guy that reads into every press conference. I can only go on what they were telling me at the time. And I'm looking at it like they just took a guy in the second round that if all goes well, he'll never see the field. That's dumb to me. I think it's still dumb, but it worked out.
It did work out.
It did work out, yes.
Nothing to do with the player. I wasn't pissed at the player.
No, I was anxious to see him play in preseason.
Yeah, I wasn't breaking down Oklahoma, Alabama tape. It was the position that they took because they could have taken every. That's a great one, Bob.
I wish I could go back and hear the audio of, because we would archive a lot of back in earlier in my career where we would go back and listen to what we said about big events, big days. Because that's Jalen Hurts one is one of the most intriguing. It was.
I remember screaming, like my wife coming into the room saying, "What's wrong?" I was like, "They just drafted a damn quarterback at number 2. They have so many other needs." And I don't know where Carson Wentz was then, wasn't anywhere close to what he became. And a lot of people say that draft put him to where he went in a big way because he was upset that they drafted another quarterback. I often wonder about that. What was the war room like? What were they saying? Were they down on Wentz, or was it just?
I think they were down on Wentz.
They saw it a lot longer before anybody else saw it.
I think they had some concerns, but I also think that was, hey, we can grab a great talent here. But I wondered the same thing, Bob. Like, was that the thing that set it over the edge for Wentz?
Well,
was that the because he was coming off of a playoff game. I understand he didn't finish, and that was part of the narrative too. Is this guy doesn't finish the season? He's always injured. He's never finished a playoff game. But looking at it, like, he wasn't horrible, and yet he just all of a sudden fell apart the next season and looked. He looked atrocious.
By the way, his 2 years as a starter in the NFL, he's been injured in December both years. So, I mean, it's like a narrative that he still has to shake off. Maybe we'll get to a December where he's not banged up.
Oh, well, maybe we'll get to a December where he's on the NFL roster.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a free agent.
Mike's here. Mike, good morning. You're on The Fanatic.
What's up? Good morning, guys.
What's up, Mike?
So the one obvious that everyone can say is I booed McNabb, and I was probably wrong, even though I don't like the guy. But good thing I'm not a GM, because the guy that I wanted so bad in the most recent years was Reuben Foster. And man, could I have not been more wrong? That dude turned
That's a good one.
Absolute nut job, right?
Yes.
Like I was screaming at the TV. I was pissed off, right? Leading up to the draft, that's all I kept hearing. I know Cuz was banging the Reuben Foster drum. And then, is he even in the league? I mean, I don't think
I think
he's in the XFL.
He had issues.
Is he really?
Yeah.
No, he had
big
issues.
time issues.
He's trying
Yeah.
to come back in either the XFL or the USFL.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, he had major problems, though.
Yeah.
Reuben.
Oh, yeah.
I think I don't remember them exactly, but I know there were some where law enforcement was involved.
I'm sorry,
Oh, yeah.
USFL.
I remember when his name was up for the Eagles maybe to draft him, and the narrative for people that wanted him was, yeah, he's back bleep crazy. That's what you want out of a middle linebacker.
No.
And everybody's like, yeah.
Sometimes that works out, like,
and
Romanowski, and sometimes it doesn't, like our current Pittsburgh Mauler, Reuben Foster.
There you go. Reuben Foster. I haven't heard that.
A lot of people are coming on here. How could you guys not say Justin Jefferson?
No, that's not, because it's the stuff the player you wanted that you got wrong.
Yeah.
Not one that you wouldn't have been.
You said the one that you wanted that you got.
No, I said the one you wanted that you got wrong. The guy you wanted that you got wrong.
Yeah.
Or the guy you got that you were wrong about too, that you were criticizing the guy
all right, then,
the day he arrived. Jalen Hurts could be one. Okay. You got it wrong. Like if you criticize Jalen Hurts being drafted by the Eagles.
Then you could say Jalen Reagor, because there were a bunch of people that liked the Jalen Reagor pick. When the revisionist history about Justin Jefferson, I heard plenty of people saying he's nothing more than a slot wide receiver.
I would be
and
shocked.
Then all of a sudden, he played the game of football, and people were like, "Oh, he's more than that."
I would think 17 people here had actually ever watched Jalen Reagor play in a game. In a game, not knowing what his name was in tape, not knowing like pre-draft, hearing Mel Kiper talk about him or something like that. But Jalen Reagor,
I'm all horn-frogged up.
he's got it all going on.
Let's go.
Hey, are you going to be okay if Howie doesn't go all in? We'll get to that and more. You can join us at 610-632-0975. Jamie joins us in the 8 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock hour. John Kincade Show on
Hello. Keep talking.
John Kincade Show on The Fanatic. Hope you're having a good Thursday morning with us. It's draft day. Jamie will join us. Thanks to Bet Parks, his daily odds pod. He'll join us coming up during the 8 o'clock hour. You have a chance to win a $1,000 gift card to anywhere you want. It's a pretty good deal. Coming up today.
Yeah, Jamie's probably bouncing off the walls today.
It's his big day.
Which a lot of us are.
I love it.
And there's so many side things going on that can get, like we were just talking about, me, Connor, and Pat. How do you watch the draft? Because there's hockey games going on. There's basketball games going on. And Connor's like, well, you don't have to really zone in on the draft. The draft is one thing, like, boom, you catch the pick, you switch the channel.
Right, exactly.
And then when you go back, you got the crawl. So if any trades were made, all of those things. So the draft is a different kind of watch. So we can keep an eye on that Hawks-Celtics game tonight.
Oh,
Fortunately,
absolutely.
the Phillies go at 1 o'clock today, so we'll be all done with that.
Coach, 1 o'clock, that game.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, that game. I have a thing up at LaSalle this afternoon. My niece is getting an award, so I'm going up there to see her. So that's at like 4:30-ish, 5 o'clock-ish. So I'm going to have to tell the powers that be at LaSalle, like, got to be back on the road by like 6:30-ish.
Could we usher this along?
Yeah, so hopefully they hear me. I talked to somebody at LaSalle last night, and maybe I got a little push in there to
good.
make
Keep it
things
along.
go. Yeah.
Hey, remember Jamie's Daily Odds Pod brought to you by Bet Parks Sportsbook app. The Bet Parks Sportsbook app brings you the 7 o'clock hour of the John Kincade Show every single day.
He showed me his office at his house the other day when I was there.
Looking
Jamie,
good?
where he does his, it's pretty cool.
Was it his dad's desk?
Yeah, and he's got so many cool things there. Yeah, his dad's desk. He has his LaSalle jersey. I believe it's his LaSalle jersey hung up right there. He's got a baseball glove there. I go, my God, was that your dad's glove? And he said, no, it's a company that sells old-time looking baseball gloves. And it's broken in perfect, and it has Shoeless Joe written on the sleeve of the mitt. He's got some really cool paraphernalia down there.
His high school jersey is there.
I think he's going to correct me when we get here, but there is a high school jersey right there.
Is it his dad's or is it his?
I thought it might have been his.
So it's his dad's
rowing
jersey from rowing.
Yeah. I thought it looked like a rowing jersey, and I wasn't sure if Jamie rowed in between lacrosse or not.
No, it's his dad's.
Okay,
now
which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. If
Jamie's
Jamie
the
hung
man.
up his own, I was going to absolutely rip him. They're like I would think to hang up your high school jersey.
If they frame it for you, if they presented it to you, what are you going to do with it? Just let it sit there?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't. If you had like a man cave or something,
like I got for our son.
If you had a man cave, I think you could.
Well, it is in his basement.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't think it was in the man cave.
Yeah. It's in his. I don't know if he calls it a man cave, but it's in the basement.
What do you think? It was in the living room?
No, I didn't know where. Well, he said. Well, I know it was where his father's desk was.
It was in the dining room.
Where his dad's desk was.
Jerseys.
Yeah, like when. So my old high school and where my son Kyle played, they give you your jersey in a frame for your senior night or whatever. So what I did was his 1 year at LaSalle that he played, I got that jersey and I framed that also. So he has that up in his apartment, his high school and college jersey. Which I have no problem with that. That's cool.
Let's see what Chris and Chalfont has to say. Chris, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Morning, guys. So I have breaking news from the inside of the Eagles draft room, so I can tell you exactly what will be happening.
Do it, Chris.
I don't like the idea, but it's what's going to happen. The Eagles will be jumping up to the 6th pick, swapping with the Lions. We'll be trading the first 2 picks we have for some mid-round picks, the Lions number 6 overall, and DeAndre Swift to fill in a gadget, cheap running back, which we like to work with.
I don't think that they would make any deal for DeAndre Swift.
He's talking about bringing back the hometown boy.
I liked it up until then. They're not good. I don't think that they're making a deal for DeAndre Swift.
Well, he didn't get a chance to tell us who they were going to take at number 6.
Yeah, it was a little there's nothing. I don't know about you. There's nothing more than the mythical trade packages that. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Trade this guy for this guy and everything. I interested in players on draft night.
Well, the Eagles were scouting this cornerback from Florida named Willie Asshat.
Willie Asshat was really, really good too.
Yeah.
up until the injury.
And they let him slip out of the
So
let me tell you what's going to happen. Eagles are going to trade this pick, and then they're going to get that thing, and they're going to get this player. They're going to. No, I don't think so. But that'd be great if they went out there and they were able to just dominate the draft. That'd be a fun thing tonight. Jeff in Arizona's up early this morning. Jeff, good morning.
Morning, John.
What's up? Good, Jeff.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about the draft, and I've been listening to you guys, and so my thought process is that I really think we should take Bijan at 10.
At 10, you want him at 10?
I mean, if you look on like every draft analyst big board, they have him as the second best player behind the D tackle from Georgia. I mean, if you put this guy in our offense right now with Hurts and all the other guys, Brown, Smith, absolute difference maker, man.
I like it.
He put us over the top, and I don't think 10. I don't think 10's too steep just for the type of player you're going to get.
I just don't think, Jeff. The problem is that I don't want to pay $50 for a $35 steak. You don't have to use the 10th pick to get Bijan Robinson. And now watch, Bijan will probably get drafted 8th now. I don't believe you have to use the 10th pick to get him. I don't think someone's taking him at 11. I don't think Tennessee's not taking him at 11. I don't think that the Packers are taking him at 13. I don't think the Jets are taking him at 15.
Packers are interesting. I mean, they'll probably, if they can, go wide receiver to help out a young quarterback, a young starting quarterback. But, you know, they've been faulted for so long about never really establishing a running game.
As I told you, though, yesterday, a very good, well-placed source told me they believe that the whole Jackson Smith and Jigba interest from the Eagles is an absolute smokescreen to get Green Bay to want to move up to 10. And I'm sort of gonna believe that because I don't think the Eagles are gonna draft a wide receiver for the fourth year in a row. I mean, or break on.
I don't see them going wide.
I don't see them
I'd be
doing
surprised at that one.
I think they're trying to get. They would hope that Green Bay would say, yeah, we don't want to lose out on this guy. David in Lumberton joins us on the Fanatic. Good morning, David.
Good morning, John.
What's up, buddy?
I've been listening to the show since you guys started. I was listening to Cuz before, but I really enjoy it. And I used to listen to Mikey Miss, too, in the afternoons. By far, I really enjoy you guys' show more
Thank
than
you, buddy.
Show I listen to. So I wanted to talk about who the Eagles are going to draft. At 10, I think the Eagles are going to draft Njigba, Jackson Smith Njigba.
So you do. Tell me why you think they would do that.
Because he's the best receiver in the draft, isn't he?
I think he's one of them.
It's interesting, David. I mean, if they're set somewhere, it's wide receiver.
They are set at wide receiver, except for that slot. You know, I don't think they're content with what Quez Watkins gave them.
No, but that would be a luxury. I mean, David, that'd be a luxury item, wouldn't it?
It would be, but I mean, where do they have the need? Like,
why wouldn't you have? Why wouldn't you get? But here's the thing: is why do you want to use your first pick overall tonight to upgrade the third best receiver position, the third receiver, when you could upgrade when you can upgrade the number one running back?
You could, but they don't value running back. You guys were just saying that. I don't think they have a ton of need anywhere, and I think that's probably Njigba's probably one of the best value picks they could get at 10.
Could be. I mean, I don't believe that he'll go at 10.
I don't think so either. And like I can't really go against David because I just sat here saying I'd love for them to polish that offense even more by going with a running back and a tight end. I just don't think the third slot receiver, when you have the likes of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, I don't know if I'm doing the number 10 pick on that. I don't think so.
I don't think they would. Pat, you don't think they'd be?
I'd be surprised, but I'd be all for it. Like,
you said that earlier in the week,
really,
right?
Because I think if you take Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's here for 10 years, whereas Bijan 5, 6.
Okay, but what helps you more?
I understand what you're saying. Right?
No, I get you, but
You're
what helps you more?
Sense.
I want the guys. I want to upgrade. You can upgrade a guy in your starting 22, and your third receiver. That's not the same impact to me as a Bijan. Matthias is joining us. Matthias, good morning. You're on The Fanatic.
Hey, how you guys doing? Good morning.
Good, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
What a great name.
Oh, appreciate that. Bob, I got to tell you, I'm in your corner today. So my wife works for LaSalle and is one of the people in charge of that event.
Oh, is that right?
So we'll try to get you out of there early. I actually live on LaSalle's campus.
Oh, okay.
What time do you need to be out, Bob, so Matthias can get after this?
6:37-ish would be ideal.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to have her done too early because I got to have someone watch the baby so I can focus fully on the draft.
Okay. I'm with you, Matthias. I'll look her up tonight. Have I met her before?
Yeah. So I'm all in on Bijan. At 10. If he's there, I say we go for it. I say put us over the top and, ready to rock and roll.
That would be, I think it'd be awesome. And Bob, you got connections, man.
We'll try.
People are listening and they're
We'll
maneuvering that thing.
Yeah, I've had
and congratulations to your niece.
Yeah,
niece,
that's great. Megan, we're proud of you.
Proud of you, Megan.
Megan, we're real proud of you,
from the whole
Megan.
show, Megan.
Yeah, we are. She's a good kid. She's had a rough year, so
we're proud of her.
Yeah,
Love you,
going
Megan.
up there to see her. Can't wait.
Hey, there's nowhere better to watch a playoff game than at PJ's. Score $3 Bud Lights while you watch the Sixers' first playoff game coming up Monday night, only at your local PJ's. So be sure to get in on that one. So Bob Cooney is a wordsmith. He's got a pre-draft column for us to help put everything in perspective.
Let's turn the page and find out what's in Cooney's column.
It is completely understandable if horrors of draft day past still haunt Eagles fans as one of the most talked about non-sporting sports events takes place tonight as the NFL draft will kick off with round one. Ghosts of recent first-round failures such as Jalen Reagor, Andre Dillard, Derek Barnett, Marcus Smith, Danny Watkins, and so on and so forth. But while those thoughts can be overriding, others try not to forget the opening round of the draft has also brought the team Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, Devontae Smith, and, well, okay, more bad than good. So that brings us to tonight. A year after participating in the title game, the Eagles have not won but 2 attempts in the first round to improve a team that posted 14 wins a season ago and 2 playoff wins before falling to Kansas City in the Super Bowl. At picks 10 and 30, which many believe may change via trades, I'm here to make a proclamation that the Eagles and Howie Roseman can do no wrong tonight. That's right. My feeling is that no matter what kind of moves Roseman decides to make and where the team winds up choosing 1 or 2 players on draft's opening night, it would be really difficult for Howie and company to screw this one up. Why? Well, there are many reasons for my gushiness, and much of it has to do with the team that it already has assembled. Yes, the defense has some holes to fill, but that, besides the money hocus pocus, is a strength of Howie Roseman. Whether it be late signing of a vet to fill a spot, a trade, or whatever, the confidence is there that it will get done. And with this offense still fully equipped the way it was a season ago, sans Miles Sanders, and perhaps adding other pieces tonight, outscoring teams this season just may be the best part of their defense. Trade up for Jalen Carter? Not sure many would have a problem with that. In spite of his off-the-field red flags, he's still rated as a top player overall in this draft by many. Stay at 10 and take best available? Sure. Hard to argue that's a bad move. Move back from 10, pick up some assets, and maybe take that Bijan guy that everybody's so excited about? Maybe the best case scenario right there. Short of just taking someone that completely fails in the NFL level, which we have seen before, the blueprint of what Howie does seems to be just about fail-proof tonight. Can't go wrong. I think there's very limited ways that they could screw this up.
Yeah. So the last time I said you can't go wrong, they took a quarterback in round 2. And yes, that did work out, but I won't sit here and say they can't go wrong. They can go wrong.
I mean...
Pat, give me a wrong.
Okay, wrong might be not the right way to put it, because I didn't like the mentality of taking a quarterback in round 2 when you signed a quarterback long term. So I would go with, but that worked out. In the moment, I thought it was wrong. Works out. I wouldn't like them taking an offensive tackle. If they stick at 10 and they take an offensive tackle, I'd hate that. You can get an offensive tackle next year, but you don't need it for this year.
The only thing is you might get an offensive tackle next year that's not one of the, like, the Eagles aren't going to be drafting at 10 next year, right?
But what if they are?
So the point.
What do you mean? What if they
like?
are?
What if they end up what if they had a deal on the table for a first round pick next year, but instead they decided to take Peter Skoronski? And
I don't want that.
You could have taken that first round pick next year and traded up and gotten another offensive tackle. Like, you could have kicked the can down the road, but they didn't do it because they wanted to get itchy and they took an offensive tackle. Like, that would just drive me nuts.
All right, you're diving into specifics, and that really wasn't my point of the column. The point is,
excuse me, sir.
No, it's okay.
I'm the reader.
It's okay. You're talking about staying at 10 and then taking the wrong guy. My thing was the blueprint of staying at 10 is okay. A blueprint of picking at 10, that's great. That means you're getting a guy that's a top 10 guy. That's okay. Sliding back from 10 and picking up more assets, great. You could do that and maybe get a guy that we all have been talking about. Move up and get maybe a difference maker that Jalen Carter could be. That's okay. The blueprint is what I see that's pretty much fail-proof. Individuals, like I said, if you draft somebody who fails in the NFL, okay, that's something you really can't guard against. But the blueprint for tonight, I think, is pretty much fail-proof.
I'm canceling my subscription.
Our buddy Tyler Zulli texts me and he says there is a wrong answer at 10. Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah, and I said that before.
I agree.
I said that before. I don't want Van Ness and I don't want an offensive lineman. Not what I'm saying. I'm not going into specifics. I'm talking blueprint. If you stay at 10, the blueprint is good. You should be able to get what you need and want at 10. Whether we agree with that or not, all right, that's a different thing. What I'm saying is the blueprint is there, and they can even change the blueprint a little bit, but it's almost fail-proof.
It was I went back and looked at my tweet from draft night from Jalen Hurts night. As far as what went down.
How was it?
The debate over whether the Eagles should have taken Hurts is valid. The discussions of Hurts and his abilities convinces me that the majority of commenters did not watch his collegiate career, know nothing of his leadership, and have just decided it's a bad pick.
See, I think you were a little off base with that because I don't think a lot of people were ripping the player. It was really simply the position.
Well, I think
so many people. I think it was much like the Donovan McNabb booing. Were they actually booing Donovan McNabb, the player, or were they booing the fact that his name wasn't Ricky Williams?
Well, I had made an appearance on a local Philadelphia morning show that morning.
Okay.
And this was tweeted right. This is my tweet right after.
Okay.
Was after that. That I guess it was being discussed as a bad pick. And I said, look, Hurts has more than proven that he can play. He's one of the most impressive leaders that Nick Saban's ever coached. Saban raves about him. Anyone who watches college football knows he isn't a bad pick. Again, debating who took him, though, is fair game.
Well, and that's why the only morning radio show that you need to listen to is this one.
Yes, I
clearly
see that.
You were appearing on a misguided radio show.
I was on a little
I can tell you, like personally, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, and Bob, you were here for it too. My issue was not Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
it was simply, why in the world are you taking a quarterback in round 2 when, much like this year, like you could go so many different avenues and I wouldn't have had a problem. There were cornerbacks sitting there. There were safeties sitting there. There were defensive ends sitting there. They went with the one position that they locked up for a long term.
Here are some
made no sense to me.
Here's some of the comments, though, Pat, that I got. What are you drafting him for? Taysom Hill? Please. Slot receiver. Is that what you're going to do? Use him as a slot receiver? A 9-7 team has clearly bigger issues than going and getting a guy like Jalen Hurts. A second-round pick is supposed to be a future starter. A lot of Taysom Hill all over the comments.
Well, that was kind of the thought process was, okay, they're going to do a Taysom Hill-esque offense. I mean, I was in the boat of why are you drafting a kid in the second round at a spot. First and second round, I look at it as you can plug and play those guys. immediately. And you can get impact. So why were you taking a guy in the second round if all goes right, he doesn't see the field for his first year?
So
I hated that idea.
Is there a pick tonight, though? Is there a pick tonight that would be comparable to the Eagles taking Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, Will Levis.
That they don't need him. Yeah, I don't think they'd ever draft. I don't think they'd ever.
Yeah,
draft.
you can go that position. A lot of people have talked left tackle. You know, why do you need a left tackle? What are you going to move unless you're going to move Mailata over to replace Lane Johnson once he hangs them up? You know, do you need another center?
Do you need it? Right, exactly.
Do you need a like wide receiver? You could almost make the argument, especially if he's not a slot. I don't know, but the overwhelming feeling here in Philly when that happened was that Carson Wentz was now take yourself back to that time here. Carson Wentz was the future. He was the franchise. He was the person everybody was looking for, and they finally got him.
Prone, though, I think is what the knock was.
Well, I'm telling you, here the feeling was this is it. This is the guy,
and he led them to the playoffs.
I thought Carson Wentz was going to be the quarterback here for 15 years.
Yeah, so
and
that's why
I was complete, but not the night they drafted Hurts. I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that. I was worried about the injury thing.
I thought they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
But I didn't think.
So did I. Yeah, I thought it was more of that.
But I don't think they should have drafted Hurts that night. I wasn't beating my chest saying, yeah, that's a smart pick. Go draft Jalen Hurts. I did not expect it, and I did not think they should have done it.
Yeah, it has 95% of what position Jalen Hurts played and 5% of what he did on the football field. I remember taking calls here the day after, and I came right out and said, look, he was my favorite player to watch in college football this season. But I didn't think you needed to take him at number 2 at that time.
And Pat's point of view is going to be coming up, and Pat wants to take us to a happier time around the draft. We'll get to that next. John Kincade Show here.
The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Your chance to win $1,000 in a gift card to anywhere you want. Comes up after the top of the hour. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Tyrone and Devon will take you through the NFL draft tonight. On Draft Night, you'll have it here on the Fanatic. And Coach says that the Phillies game is at 1:05 today.
Where the hell is Coach?
I know where he's gone to.
Seen him forever.
I know where he's gone to.
Kind of replace Coach right there. Will you?
He kind of just floats out, and then he'll come back in and go, sorry about that. But he never expounds on where he goes. And honestly, like, I don't know if I want to know because I could be culpable in a crime.
You could be.
So, I don't know. Maybe the home improvement store had a lie sale.
I think that Keith Morrison, when they do the Dateline episode, Pat, he's not going to buy your explanation. So be ready. He tends to be a tough questioner.
That's why he can question me all he wants. I don't talk to this dude.
He's going to do that.
Mess with Coach.
Keith Morrison's gonna go after you.
I just work with this dude. I don't mess with him though.
Hey, today's the perfect day to meet your friends at PJ's. It is going to be a nice afternoon.
Is it supposed to clear up?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be nice.
All right,
nice day today, but it's going to be in and out clouds. Great food, drink, and a relaxed atmosphere on the patio at PJ's. Take my advice. Head to PJ's because you're not going to be using the patio at PJ's. You're going to be eating inside for like the next 5 days because it's going to be rainy.
Yeah, and a little chilly, too.
Oh, yeah. But if you planted some sod, Bob just had to do a little wildlife check for us.
So I went outside yesterday because I knew the rain was coming last night, but I wanted to get some water on it yesterday as soon as we got done work. And, man, is my grass coming up really well that I seeded.
See?
It's so – Pat, it's like watching, like Jack get older, watching the grass come up through the soil that you just planted like 8 days ago. It's a wonderful sight.
No one cares.
Okay.
It's a great thing. I mean, Pat likes to get out in the yard.
Not at all.
Do that stuff. It's good.
Not at all. I am not a nature person.
Hey, Lou in Langhorne joins us. Lou, what's going on, brother?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, man.
First of all, I just want to say to you guys, the whole team, thank you because you guys really get my workday started in an entertaining fashion, and I love that.
Thank you, Lou.
Appreciate that, guys.
Even Egan?
Everybody.
Thanks, Lou.
So, listen, I just want to say this about the Jalen Hurts pick, right? Because I know that at the time, the way we looked at it, and we asked ourselves, was it luck or was it foresight, right? But when you go back, and now that I look at it with clear eyes and having seen what happened, there was a lot of breadcrumbs going all the way back that the organization was losing faith in him. And let's start with during the Super Bowl run, right? What did these guys in the locker room do? They put up a shrine to Nick Foles. And at the time, we were all kind of caught up in the wave of going to the Super Bowl. But there was a feeling that it was kind of odd that was happening, right? Then the next year, what happens? The Alshonimus thing, right? With
yes.
Tina Anderson, right? And there's whispers that things aren't great. And then after that, what happens? They do that little expose. That guy wrote that article.
Joe Santoliquito.
Yeah, so now we look at that, and you have a guy who couldn't stay healthy through any season. So all I'm saying is if we saw smoke in the building, I bet you there was fire. So my view on it, now that I see what happened, is that the organization already had ideas, and the fact that they made that pick with the second pick tells us exactly how they felt about him at the time.
Good job, Lou. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember my feelings then were I didn't have that feeling, and I know being on the air the few days after that, few in this town had that feeling. It was different. I don't know if it's revisionist history, if we know more now than we think we knew then. I don't know, but I just know at the time I was shocked.
Let's see what, in Pat's point of view, he wants to take us to happier times.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
Pat.
What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing at the guy that Bob says, even Egan? I'm still laughing at that.
That was a bit much. Hurt my
a
feelings.
little much,
Whatever,
but I
we'll
liked
move
it.
on.
Well, no,
Hey, this is my point of view.
Okay.
You'll have your time, bud. You can go sit in your corner. The draft is tonight.
Coach is back.
It is tonight.
We haven't talked about it much.
Very good. We haven't. Yes.
What is your favorite though draft memory, draft story, and does it involve the Eagles? Because I recently read a story on ESPN.com about when the Vikings missed their pick. I think it was 2002 or 2003.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, 15-minute allotment. The 15 minutes was up, and the Vikings were still deciding what to do. And the reporter went into detail and interviewed a few people on what exactly went down in the war room and how the hell you could miss your pick with 15 minutes. And what it boiled down to was they thought they had a trade. They ended up calling the office to put the trade through their end. And I believe it was I forget. But the other team never called. And the story was that the line was busy. They couldn't get through. So the Vikings are sitting there kicking back, thinking, all right, we got a trade going down. And then the logo never changed, and they kind of panicked and had to rush a name to the podium. I love stories like that. The backstory of how deals get made and players slipping and who teams really wanted. Sometimes you have a situation that a team lucks into a guy in round 3 because the guy they wanted actually was off the board. I remember watching the Arizona Cardinals Amazon series, and they wanted a running back that went to the Lions in the second round, and they ended up taking David Johnson in the third round, and David Johnson was the much better running back. They wanted Amir Abdullah. So I love stories like that. Do you guys have any kind of draft day memories that you can think of off the top of your head that you always maybe think about when the draft comes around?
I love the memory that I always give, the thing that I say to my daughter. Don't bring sand to the beach. Remember Brady Quinn?
Yeah, I couldn't stand that dude.
Bringing his girlfriend to the draft, and he was one of the only guys that brought a girl to the war room, and she sat next to him, and then he dropped in the draft.
And he begged to get drafted.
And he was like, we've been in a long-term relationship for a long time, and he brings the girlfriend to the table. He gets picked by the Browns, and she blows him off for a kiss. He goes in for a kiss, and she doesn't even kiss him. And then they break up.
Well, it happens, you know.
No, like right after. They break up, but it's the draft.
Yeah,
it's his night.
That wasn't what I remembered about him on that night. I remember they kept showing him, and he kept dropping and dropping and dropping.
And the chewing of the
and
gum.
dropping. And he went like what in the 20s, Pat, when they thought he was going to be top 10.
Yeah, they traded back into the first round for him, like mid-20s. I remember him begging to get drafted. I thought it was the most pathetic thing in the world. He was like actively campaigning for the Cleveland Browns to draft him.
And his, but the idea being is that was his night. That was his night, and he brought it. But yeah, and it ended up there. It's interesting.
See, I think of like with girlfriends. The first one that comes to mind, and I know Jamie will remember this one, Russell Wilson's draft video, because he was at home, and it was the third round. He gets taken by Seattle, and his then girlfriend at the time lost her mind, and it is the funniest video in the world. And
what do you mean lost her mind? I don't remember this.
She turned into like a chupacabra. I'll send you the video. She starts screaming and yelling, and it's hilarious. And they broke up. I think he realized I'm not built for this. And Russell Wilson decided to move on to Sierra. But his girlfriend at the draft was something.
Psycho. She got psycho face.
Hi, Jamie.
Yeah, there was no way that Russell Wilson could have stayed with her.
Yeah. Good morning. Hello.
Hello
yeah,
there.
I remember that face distinctly. It's etched in the terrors of my mind.
Jamie, what's your favorite draft story?
I got really little hydrated one year. We used to do the War Room down at O'Neill's Pub in South Philly. And, buckets of beer special. And it was the Marcus Smith year. And I consider myself a bit of a draft nerd. I didn't really even know who Marcus Smith was. Mm-hmm. And I put on a show for O'Neill's.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit of cussing.
Second and South?
You were upset.
Third and South.
Third and South. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you talk to VG or my buddy Hicks, they'll remember the Marcus Smith
Did a shirt come off or something, or what happened?
No, just who the bleep is this? And And then Jeff McClain just did a podcast about him, and you feel bad because the guy was going through it. He didn't even think he was supposed to be a first-round pick.
I think a lot of people had the same.
Thank you.
Had the same story as you, Jamie. It was just a different bar. You know, same neighborhood.
But in
just
fairness,
different house.
On one of your subjects today, the guy I wanted that year badly was Kelvin Benjamin.
I wanted, same thing.
Hell of a player.
Well,
and he had a window of time, though.
Yeah, he had like 2 years, and then kind
2
of
or 3. Yeah,
he fizzled. Was pretty slow.
He also had a quarterback that wasn't very good
Fair.
at throwing the football.
Yeah, but Marcus Smith is my most memorable. And then Sidney Jones, I went real hype down live on the Parkway.
You were very excited about Sidney?
Yeah, that's still a chance I take. That's a risk I take on a top player in a draft off an injury. I trust modern science.
I agree with you on that.
Science!
We're agreeing too much early on.
Wow, look at
you
us.
already
disagree on
reacting.
something.
All right, this is one I wanted to try it out here when Jamie joins us, but I want to tell you first. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. You can learn more at progressivecommercial.com. You did your homework, Jamie, right? Your final mock draft is coming up.
Yeah.
We will have that 20 minutes past the hour.
Yeah, I'm all ready.
And you're swinging a bat, and all I can see is the screen breaking.
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. So you're ready for it. So, I mean, you're not breaking the screen.
No. I'm. I think it's hard for them to screw up tonight. Whether they trade up and get one of these DNs, whether they trade back, whether they stay put. I think it's hard to screw this up. So I'm really looking forward to tonight.
The blueprint is good. Like what you said, they can do all that.
Yeah.
The
I'm
only
good
way
with
they
a
can
lot.
screw it up is picking the wrong person.
Yeah, and we won't know that for probably two years.
But
so.
I like you said, you could stay, you could go back, you could move up. All of those things I think are good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a rumor out there yesterday that they're in love with one of these DNs. And it just planted the seed in my head yesterday. Talked a little bit about it on the Daily Odds pod this morning. If I can use one of next year's potential 12 draft picks and move up and say the Cardinals want to get out of 3 and I can go get a Will Anderson, sign me the hell up. So, there's a lot on the table tonight. It's going to be a pretty fun night.
Should be very exciting.
And you know how they don't have a 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's not staying true. Howie's going to make moves tonight or tomorrow.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I trust him. I'm back, baby.
No, but 4, 5, and 6. I mean,
there's just no way they're not going to draft.
You're back in on Howard. You're back in on Jalen. I mean, you are buried.
There's no way
he was always in on Jalen.
Well, and then I bailed on myself.
That's right. You got out. Yeah, you're right. My fault.
But draft day, I was the only guy in town.
He was the only guy in town that liked it.
Damn right. But there's 112 picks there in the draft where they don't have anything. That's not going to stay.
No, you can't do that.
So there's no way Howie's letting 110 picks go by without taking a selection. So they're going to be active in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, the question for you here is, but we have to do the keyword first. Someone gets a chance to win $1,000.
97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway.
Your chance to win a $1,000 gift card to anywhere you want. The keyword this time is worth. WORTH, not Jason. That's the word worth. 3 ways to play. Enter the keyword on the Fanatic app. Enter it at 97.5thefanatic.com or text it to 45911. Once again, the keyword is worth. WORTH. And the Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway is presented by American Standard HVAC Contractors. To find a dealer, visit AmericanStandardAir.com. One person selected at random will win. Get complete rules for this company-wide contest at 97.5thefanatic.com. Okay, do you want a tasty little nugget?
I love nuggets.
From somebody who, somebody I trust.
Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, McDonald's.
I don't think it's one of them. By the way, Wendy's is coming back.
Ooh. Do you know they got a secret menu 50 bucket of nuggets?
What?
Yeah.
Don't tell Anthony that.
It's like going around TikTok.
Really?
Apparently it's real. You can get like a 50 box.
A 50 box of
yeah.
That's a lot to eat. But it depends on how many kids you have.
Yeah.
Like Anthony says right now with Moss and Ant.
Oh, they could take it down to 50 piece.
They just they'll blow right through it. Just a tasty little nugget to watch for.
All right.
The idea of the Philadelphia Eagles acquiring Derrick Henry is a distinct long shot. But keep your eye out for spending $2 million or more extra in cap hit. Getting Austin Eckler is not.
Oh. I mean, his ability in the pass game.
I got this text from someone in the West Coast time zone who I trust very much, saying, watch the Austin Eckler thing, because Austin Eckler is not somebody who is demanding another deal. He wants to come to a team and says he'll sing for his supper and be a free agent at the end of the year. He thinks he can cash in, or he thinks he can go somebody and encourage them to get him a deal. Derrick Henry wants a new deal.
Yeah, I mean, his ability in the pass game, I could see the Eagles being in love with.
It's superior to Henry's.
If you had Eckler and Penny in a backfield with Gainwell as a third, woo, that's
Austin Eckler. So just keep your eye out for that.
All right.
Is that Austin Eckler?
If he's this year's A.J. Brown, I think people are dancing in the streets.
He has an expiring contract. He's last year in 2023. He'll cost around $2.1 million more against the cap. But that could have been some of why the Eagles made renegotiations in cap figures, to have that kind of freedom. So just a little interesting little nugget there. So keep an eye out on
all right.
So. We'll see how that one shakes out. I have the draft question of the day, and then Jamie, we're going to get your answers. I've given a draft question Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I have the Thursday question. Then I'm going to get you to answer the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday question.
Oh, sweet.
But today's question is this, and it goes to Bob first. Connor, we need you for this because you've been in on this all week. If the Eagles make a trade tonight, who is their team trade partner? And if you have to Google it, look at it, check out the order, draft order, or whatever, you need a little more time, I can go to someone else. If the Eagles make a trade tonight, who is their team trade partner?
Interesting. So the first thing you have to do, obviously, is figure out, are they trading up or are they trading back? I told you that my ultimate scenario would be a trade back, because I want them to pick up some assets and then also be able to get my boy, Bijan Robinson. So I will say their trade partner tonight, should they have one, John?
Yes.
Is going to be the Houston. No, I got it. The Houston Texans.
Houston Texans.
Yes.
They're one I consider.
So there it is. So the Houston Texans is Bob's pick there. Mine are the Green Bay Packers, because Jamie, I know you've been very, very big on Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Mm-hmm.
But I got tipped off that their Green Bay is thirsty for him, and that the Eagles may have been putting out the smoke screen to get them interested, so they would be interested in being a trade partner, and they could go back to 13. I will say the Green Bay Packers. Pat Egan?
By the way, that would be amazing considering they never gave Aaron Rodgers a first round.
Oh, wouldn't it be the ultimate sort of little?
Yeah, it'd be the ultimate like FU.
And they want they're committed to make sure that Jordan Love works.
Yeah, I don't blame
You know what I mean?
I will go with the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis falls. They traded back with the Titans.
What do you think they'd pick up to go one spot, Pat?
I would say because it's
a third?
Because it's a quarterback, I could see them going a third and a conditional second or third next year, 2 thirds, or I could see them doing that.
That's awesome. Connor Thomas?
Yeah, the Eagles have had an interesting trend of dealing within the division in the first round recently.
Okay.
So I'm going to go 16, the Washington Commanders.
You son of a...
You were waiting for it.
Yeah, I had the same.
Jamie, is that where you're going, Washington?
Yeah, I think they
want a QB.
Yeah, I mean, what do they have? Jacoby Brissett now and Sam Howell.
Sam Howell's going to be the starter.
Yeah,
sure he is.
Yeah.
No, I think he's going to be the starter.
I mean, that would be the smart thing for them to do. You know what Jacoby Brissett is.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to.
Right? Isn't that who they signed?
Is it Jacoby Brissett? I'm not sure.
They signed somebody.
You've been known to black out from time to time. So you say Washington also?
Yeah, I think I think quarterback. I think they're going to go for it.
All right.
New ownership.
I'll tell you, Pats is very intriguing to me, because if the quarterbacks start to slip, I absolutely could see Tennessee going 11-10, and then I could see the Eagles going 11-13 with Green Bay to let them get Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, I could see
everybody. I do not believe there. And if they picked up if they were sitting at 13 and had already made 2 trades, that's freaking awesome. I mean, that'd be, and then call Washington. Well, there wouldn't be another quarterback.
Yeah, I think we all picked the most likely scenarios.
All right. Well, yesterday.
How about up? Can we do that?
Yeah, I mean, but if that was the question though, if the Eagles make a trade, who's their trade partner?
We all went back.
We all went back.
I thought Seattle at 5. That crossed my mind.
Mine too.
I don't think that Pete Carroll's trading that pick.
Probably not, but,
I don't think he's trading
if they love Tyree Wilson and feel like he's going to be there at 10 and have good knowledge that there's a quarterback run coming, you never know.
I think they may draft
Nolan Smith.
See, I think they may. I don't think they're taking Nolan Smith at. You mean if they took him at 10?
If they're okay with him at 10.
And I think 10 is way overdrafting Nolan Smith.
Well,
and I like Nolan Smith a lot.
Prepare yourself.
I am not. I don't like it. I don't like it, and I do. I do think that they
screams Eagles, doesn't it?
Yeah, but not 10. I don't think they'll use it at 10.
We'll find out.
Would do it. All right,
Can't
Jamie,
wait.
we got to get your answers to the other questions. All right. Will the Eagles' first selection be over or under 10.5, the pick in the draft?
Under. It'll be a top 10
So
pick.
you say it'll be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
So you go under. You and Pat are the only ones who went under on that.
Yeah, I think they're going to mortgage some of next year into this year.
Okay, so you're going under. Well, that could be if they stay at 10 too. You're a winner.
Yeah, I think they want somebody.
The Eagles' first pick will be defensive line, offensive line. What is it?
Defensive line.
You say defensive line. Okay, you fall into the Connor and Bob pick in that one.
Yeah,
that they both went that. Pat went defensive end. I went offensive line.
I could see Tyree Wilson being the guy.
Will the Eagles draft? And now this is a series of questions from Monday. Will the Eagles draft at 10 and 30?
No.
Okay, we all said no to that. So everybody thinks no. So I ask you the next question. Will there be multiple first-round players picked? Will they come out of the draft tonight with multiple players?
No.
Okay. Well, you followed every. Bob's the only one who said yes.
I think they're going to package 30 to move up.
Will the Eagles pick up an additional first-rounder in 2024?
No.
Okay. Right now, you, me, and Pat are the only ones who are all three there. And the last one, will the Eagles pick up an additional second-round pick? Either for this year, next year, or otherwise?
No, because I'd be going against what I've been kind of going with this whole time.
There you go. You and I are the
I don't know.
Those four no's.
I woke up feeling that they're going to be aggressive for a D end. That was my draft day thought, is that they want, whether it's a Tyree or a Will Anderson or a Jalen Carter, I think they're going to go get their guy because they know and value that position and know how infrequent it's going to be for them to be at 10, and that's good draft capital. So I think they're going to package 10 and 30 and go up and get somebody.
Is it that simple, 10 and 30
No,
to go?
you'd have to give some futures, too.
Okay.
Probably like a future second or third, something like that.
For just that 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think they're going to think it's worth it. Because they have 12 picks next year. They got, 3 compensatory picks, plus they already have some capital. I don't think they're going to...
No, they have 4 compensatory picks.
4, yeah.
That's the question I asked earlier.
So
How much of this draft are you looking at next year?
I think you look at the capital and you go, all right, we don't need 12 picks next year. Let's go get a guy that's a game changer.
Yeah.
If you compare Josh Sweat with, say, Tyree Wilson or, Will Anderson, you're set for 7 years at D end.
All right, how would you feel if this happened? They move back at 10. They gain some capital. They're picking at 16, 17, 18, whatever. They get Bijan. They stay at 30, and they take probably the second best, maybe the best tight end in the draft. How you feeling after that?
It's a pretty fun offense.
He's going pantsless, Pat. That's a pantsless
No,
move.
I don't think he is. I'm pantsless.
I would feel that's a little bit of a waste of resources.
Okay.
A waste of resources.
In a way, yeah. I don't think you need to get that greedy on offense. I think just one guy on offense can upgrade this enough to be the best in the NFL.
Are you? We're going to find out Jamie's final mock draft. It's coming your way next. Plus, game time at the bottom of the hour, where Coach and Pat say it's going to be incredible and there are going to be great prizes and more. So stick around, won't you? It's draft day. It's finally here, and Jamie's swinging a bat in a room full of glass screens. John Kincade, Sean. It's draft day, also known as one of Jamie's national holidays. He's with us thanks to the Daily Odds pod from Bet Parks, which you've already recorded this morning, correct, Jamie?
Oh, yeah. Woke up full of energy today. Went to bed early last night knowing I'd be up late tonight. Unfortunately missed the Bucks Heat, which was at 9:30 p.m. for some unknown reason.
What stupidity is that?
I don't understand. That was the most intriguing game.
Well, two West Coast teams, it's understandable.
Yeah. Like, what?
Makes a lot of sense.
Pat, that geography at Doherty was a little. You were that was the class you were reading Cooney's column in. The geography.
Yes, no, actually, I'm trying to think of
what was the class you.
Oh, theology.
I can understand a little
theology.
bit of that.
And it wasn't like I didn't participate. I would. And that's what pissed the teacher off the most is I would sit there, I'd be reading the paper, and then I would fold the paper, I'd raise my hand, I'd participate in whatever discussion we were having, and then I'd pick the paper back up and continue to read.
Yeah,
Were
it's
you
pretty bad.
openly reading the paper, or did you have it hidden behind?
No, I was like row 2 openly.
Oh, that's
wow.
Yeah,
That's a ballsy move.
Yeah,
by you.
it is, and it's a JO move now looking back on it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What was?
I
Do you remember the priest or teacher?
I do. Her name was Miss Smith. She was very nice. She's since passed away. She was cool. But it just wasn't really a topic I cared about. But then again, once again, my point was to her, I'm participating in your class. I can just do two things at once.
They made me take we had to take an ethics class in college, and all I remember was last semester of college. I'd put it off. I had to take it, and the professor who would get so frustrated in conversations with me in the room that he said one day he was just going to leave the car running in the garage.
Oh,
I was like, that's a really interesting.
That's heavy.
That's a really heavy thing for an ethics teacher to teach.
Yeah, because he's telling you that he has reached the pinnacle of teaching.
That he can't handle
this. He can't get any better. So he might as well go meet his maker. That's a compliment.
I think he was.
And now it's come full circle because all your kids last night said they were going to do the same thing after the final exam.
They rented a bus.
They're like, please, can we do that? Hey, let's find out Jamie's final mock draft for the 2023 NFL Draft.
I'm not going to have any change in the top 5 here. So let's get started with the Panthers, number 1. Frank Reich said there's a unanimous choice there in Carolina.
With the first pick in the NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select
Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama. I thought for a while it was going to be Stroud, but I think they're just going to go with the safer pick. There's a lot, chances of him being good are probably the best of all of them. Number 2.
With the second pick in the NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select.
They can say what they want about, S scores and C.J. Stroud, but I think they'd be foolish to pass up on this kid. He thinks stuff's coming out now. I don't buy that last 36-hour kind of storm, positive or negative, typically. And his has been the negative because of the testing scores. I don't think the Texans are going to pass on it. They could trade, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be C.J. Stroud. Number 3.
With the third pick in the NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select.
If they don't trade with the Eagles, I think it's going to be Will Anderson.
He is a game wrecker.
Yeah, he's a safe pick. I think that's where the Eagles want to get.
A safe pick?
Yeah.
He's more than a safe pick.
But
He's
at worst, he's a safe pick.
Oh, my gosh.
At best, he's an all-pro.
I think his jersey number would be up in the rafters.
He's a potential all-decade type of guy, and I think that's why the Eagles have naughty thoughts about getting him. Number 4.
With the fourth pick in the NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select
Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida. I think they're pretty locked in there. Number 5.
With the fifth pick in the NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select
Jalen Carter, University of Georgia. I just think Carroll and him make a lot of sense. Number 6.
With the sixth pick in the NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select
Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon. This, again, is where I just go back to the roots, and it all started with this kid tied to the Lions. I think he's going to be the guy, not Devin Witherspoon. Number 7.
With the seventh pick in the NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select.
Now, here's a name I should have thrown out as a trade partner. I think if Tyree Wilson is sitting here at 7, If the Raiders aren't absolutely enthralled with him,
Right.
I could see the Eagles trying to get up to 7 and possibly take him.
He's a name that's hardly been mentioned with the Eagles, though.
Yeah, a lot of scouts think he's just behind Will Anderson.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's a little bit slimmer. I don't know.
would not want that.
But to move up 3 picks, if you trust them and believe he's their guy, I mean, you gotta love it, right? A D end.
I don't know. I'm not sold on him.
All right, number 8.
With the 8th pick in the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons select.
I think it's just going to patch their secondary in a heartbeat in one offseason and get Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. Number 9.
With the 9th pick in the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select.
I think their new GM wants to play it as safe as possible and get Justin Fields some help. I think they go Peter Skoronski. He's got that versatility. They can play him at tackle or guard or wherever they need.
Look at Bob doing
his T-Rex arms,
It'll be all right. He'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
Yeah.
If they don't take him, I think it's Paris Johnson.
Skoronski sounds like a Bear.
He does.
As you said, he does. Sounds like somebody who played for the Bears.
A couple sausages on the grill. And then finally, number 10.
With the 10th pick in the NFL draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select
Nolan Smith. That's what I woke up thinking. If they're not aggressive and trade up, I think they're going to go Nolan Smith.
I hate that at 10. I don't hate the player.
Yeah.
I don't think you got to buy him at 10. I would hope that Tennessee's calling, like Pat suggested earlier. I would hope that a quarterback is slid.
And there's a good possibility of that. Yeah, Will Levis becomes...
I don't want to buy Nolan Smith. I worry about it. I worry about his frame.
Yeah, I hear you. He just seems like an Eagles pick to me.
Yeah, it could be.
He's coming from a system they love.
He doesn't have the character and questions that Jalen Carter has at all.
Yeah,
he's a guy who the organization would gladly welcome in the door without question.
Yeah, that's what I woke up feeling.
So you're going to have 2 ends that are like 6'1", 6'2", 230 in him and Hassan Reddick. 230, 235-ish area. You still have also Josh Sweat, who gives you some more beef there, but
not a whole lot more. I mean, he's another athletic DN type of guy.
Yeah,
I don't know. He just kind of fits their mold recently.
He does fit the mold. There's no question.
Yeah, that's what I woke up. I just think it's going to be DN.
Just tell me the way you just said it. Yeah, I think so. Would you be disappointed if it's him?
I don't want to say disappointed, but it's probably the least sexy, the least exciting. But I wouldn't be disappointed per se.
I asked the guys the question earlier, so I want to get your thoughts on it. The 22 depth chart right now, so 11 on the offense, 11 on the defense. I think trading back and drafting Bijan Robinson makes the most sense because you would upgrade one of the 22 starter positions better than anything you could do with value at that position. If you draft a corner,
probably.
they're not starting. If you draft a DN, they're probably not starting.
And a safety, there's none really that high, so it doesn't make sense.
And there's no linebacker that high.
No.
So to me,
probably.
You upgrade Bijan.
Well, Mel Kiper had it this morning going to the Eagles at 10, Bijan.
Really?
Yeah, and Mel doesn't fly blind in this. You know what I mean?
God,
like he's talking to people. That doesn't mean they take him, obviously.
Correct.
But it is interesting. And then the conspiracy yesterday was the 4 Bijan mustard releases. The first one they released was Eagles green.
And the day before, he says
he wants to play with Hurts.
Well, first off, he also signs with Hurts' agent.
Yeah.
This week. And also he then says on ESPN the quarterback he'd want to play with is Jalen Hurts.
I mean,
there's
outside
a lot
of them not valuing running back that high, it does make a lot of sense.
There's a lot of smoke.
I know.
And the thing is, though,
I'd still be kind of shocked.
I told Bob the other day, so before the show, I'm back here reading the Christian McCaffrey draft because Pat remembered it like yesterday, and Pat was like, yeah, I remember that. I don't remember that they were lusting after Christian McCaffrey and trying desperately to get ahead of Carolina. And they tried to move to 12, they tried to move to 13 and couldn't do it. And then Carolina got him.
Yeah, I remember Anthony was all hyped up on him, too.
So, I mean, it's not like Howie Roseman doesn't have a history of wanting a guy who is a great back, who is a great pass-catching back. I mean, people are like, well, it doesn't fit what the Eagles wanted to do. No, they didn't get him. They tried everything they could to get Christian McCaffrey, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, and there was some smoke around Dalvin Cook also. I know Anthony.
In the second round, right?
Yeah, Anthony talked to a lot. Anthony loved him, first of all. And I know Anthony was talking to people within the Eagles, and there was some seriousness there about that. So for us to blindly say maybe they don't value running back, I don't know if that's true.
I don't think it's true.
Well, the league doesn't really value
exactly.
first-round running back.
Yeah.
And that's typically what it is. I mean, Bijan could be a top 5 player from this draft and might go at like 15, 16.
Right.
So that kind of tells you how the league views running backs.
If Bijan doesn't go to the Eagles, where does he go? You have any idea? Like, do you have a team in mind? Not necessarily. Just think a franchise that you think would pull the trigger on him. I think Dallas would. I absolutely think Dallas would consider it. Even though I think they're going to go tight end.
I could see Houston doubling up quarterback and running back at 12
and
again.
then you get the Texas kid.
Yeah.
That's a team that I thought in my head. He just seems like a San Diego guy to me, too.
And then
especially if Eckler's out.
And if Eckler is potentially
they don't have
available.
a team anymore, Bob.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
the
the
Los Angeles Chargers, Pat.
Well, people are calling you a non-football guy after that.
I'm sorry, Pat.
I can see the Bucks at 19 doing that. That seems like a Bucks kind of move.
He was watching Eddie, Pat, at the time.
Oh, finally?
He's watching Eddie right now. He keeps letting
Eddie in draft day. I have him on split screen.
He said that Whoopi Goldberg, she's quite the actress.
Draft day is the best.
Quite the coach. I don't know what kind of actress she is.
There you go. Hey, it's time for game time. It's a Thursday morning. Your chance to win fabulous prizes. 610-632-0975. Line yourselves up. 610-632-0975. There's some really, really good prizes here available, but let's find out what the boys have cooking this morning.
It's Thursday at 8:30, which means game time. Today we're playing NFL Draft Prospect or Presidential Candidate. Now, here's your master of ceremonies, a man who was drafted in the 17th round of his Little League, Pat Egan.
On the
That's
surface,
unbelievable.
that sounds bad, but there were a whole lot of players in that little league, so you know.
You in a deep league too.
Yeah,
and only 6 teams.
Game changers.
It's whatever. Anyway, we'll move on.
It is what it is.
Were you giving right field?
You guys heard my draft profile yesterday. It wasn't great. This is a pretty simple concept here. I'm going to give the you guys the name, and then you just have to tell me if it's a draft prospect or a presidential candidate. You guys are going to be playing for a listener. Okay?
Okay.
So you guys, it's up to you whether we lose listeners or not. And for up to grabs today, we have a pair of tickets to go see Sarah Silverman at the Met. We have a pair of tickets to go see Bill Maher at the Met. A $50 Metro Dining gift card and Scream 6 on digital.
Okay,
So,
any word on that?
I haven't seen it. I'm not
you
really
haven't
a
seen
Scream guy. I saw the first one and
You didn't really dig
I
the
liked
others,
1
huh?
and 2.
yeah, but I've heard it. I heard it was pretty good.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah, 1 and 2 were awesome.
Yeah, but it's not really my Matt Forte. So we'll start out with James in Levittown. He's going to be playing with John Kincade.
Hi, James.
Good morning.
Hey, buddy.
All right, John, the name I'm going to give you is John Fremont. John Fremont. Is he a NFL draft prospect or was he a presidential candidate?
A presidential candidate, I believe.
Yes.
Very good.
John Fremont and Bob remembers this. He lost in 1856 to James Buchanan.
And there was no voting controversy back then. We think we had everything tallied correctly.
So they didn't have any water main breaks
No,
when they
it
were
was okay.
counting.
Everything
they didn't
was
have to go
good.
to bed, and that's great. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
so James, thanks to John Fremont, just won a pair of tickets to go see Sarah Silverman at the Met on May 4th.
Good
Get
job.
tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Good
and
job,
that is
James.
simple. Let's go to Desmond in Philly.
All right, Desmond.
Yes, good morning.
What's up, Des?
Desmond, you're going to be playing with Bob Cooney. Bob, the name I'll give you is Jack Bobo.
Jack Bobo?
I'm sorry. I read it wrong. Jake Bobo.
Which one is it? Is it Jake or Jack?
It's Jake. Jack's his younger brother.
Jake Bobo had to be a football prospect.
Yeah, that was.
All right, way to go, Des.
UCLA wide receiver projected to go in round 7.
What year was that? Does it
No, it's
say?
this year.
Oh, my gosh.
All the
all of
prospects
them are
are from
this
year.
That's wild.
And then all the presidential candidates are not from this year. 'Cause we're
Okay.
not having a presidential election.
All right.
So Jake Bobo, UCLA wide receiver, and he just won a pair of tickets to go see Bill Maher at the Met on June 3rd. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Congratulations to Desmond.
Now, we're not ruling out any of these guys if they wanted to run for president. We'd give them the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
All
Okay,
right,
good.
let's go to John in the Northeast.
What's up, Johnny?
What do you say, guys? Good morning. Happy draft day.
John, you're going to be playing with Jamie Lynch, and
John.
The name I'll give Jamie is Afro Man. Afro Man. Is he a NFL draft prospect or a presidential candidate? Afro Man. Jamie? 5?
I'm gonna
4? Are you serious with this dude?
Draft prospect?
Oh my God! Do you want to think about the Afro Man?
He's a rapper. Huh? Am I missing something?
Yeah.
Like
if he's a
he's
rapper, he sure as hell ain't playing
you
pro
high
football.
right now?
Well, he's not a presidential candidate.
You don't know that? Kanye was.
Afro Man's running?
He just said it. He said Afro Man and presidential candidate in the
He's
same
a presidential
Good job,
candidate.
Jamie.
Congratulations, Jamie. You
What?
just won, John.
Yes.
Because I got high?
Presidential candidate.
I think that's the problem, Jamie. I think
He's
are
running?
high right now.
Yes.
I think that's why
I
you
feel like
messed
I'm getting punked.
I was telling you the answer.
I
mean,
think
it
this
was
is why you
cheating.
messed up this layup that I just
Presidential
gave you.
candidate.
Yes.
Obviously, Afro Man.
Yeah. John, you just won Scream 6 on digital. Ghostface is back and more terrifying than ever. Get over an hour of killer bonus content when you buy it on digital, available at participating retailers, rated R.
I like when he said, he's a rapper. He can't run for president. And
Yeah.
Pat's like, Kanye?
Yeah. Come on,
Seriously.
man.
All right. Wow. I guess I missed that one in the news.
You try to give the guy an easy one. And this
You
is what
really
happened.
are in the draft. You're head first into this draft.
I can't believe he actually said draft prospect.
Oh, my gosh.
Could you imagine Melko bringing out Afro Man?
Afro
Maybe it
Man.
was like a nickname.
His 40 time was NA because he got lost at the 20-yard line. Let's go to Brian in Bluebell next.
What's up, Brian?
Good morning, guys.
Brian, you're going to be playing with John Kincade. John, the name I'm going to give you is Trevor Reed. Was Trevor Reed a presidential candidate or a draft prospect?
Draft prospect.
He is a draft prospect, of course. Louisville offensive tackle, another projected 7th-round draft pick.
There you go.
But Brian, you just won a $50 Metro Dining gift card. Visit metrodiner.com.
I love Metro Diner, by the way. Pat, you have frequented, right?
Great spot, man. Great
Really
spot.
good
Yeah, I
spot.
went to the one out by Parks recently. It was
It's a
delightful.
really good
Had a
spot.
good time.
Metro Diner's slick.
All right, let's go to Chris in Newtown next. Chris will be playing with Bob Cooney.
All right, Chris, let's get it done, buddy.
All right, Bob, the name I'm giving you, Horatio Seymour.
Horatio Seymour?
Horatio
Oh, my God. Well, of course, Horatio, back in a long time ago, I believe I covered him. He might have been a Democrat or an independent, I'm not sure, but he definitely was a presidential candidate.
Yeah, Horatio Seymour lost in 1868 to Ulysses S. Grant.
Yes.
Put up a good fight, but ended up losing. But Horatio might have lost that. He wins, though. He wins our caller, Chris, a pair of tickets to go see Sarah Silverman at the Met on May 4th. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. All
I
right,
love that.
let's go to Anthony in Delco.
Okay, Anthony.
Morning, guys. Happy draft day.
Thank you,
Happy
buddy.
draft day, buddy.
All right, Jamie, the name
Jamie.
I will give you,
Afro.
I feel like I'm set up in this.
Afro Man.
the name I will give you is Mary Carey. Is Mary Carey an NFL draft prospect or a presidential candidate? Mary Carey.
Presidential candidate, Pat.
Correct. Yes, Mary Carey was in fact. And actually, it's a woman, believe it or not. But
You were thinking you
nailed
were
that
being
one.
set up there, though, didn't you?
Somebody from like Utah.
She nailed other people. You nailed that one.
Sounds like a
And,
slot receiver from Utah.
Anthony, we got a Utah player coming up. Anthony ends up winning a pair of tickets to see Bill Maher at the Met on June 3rd. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Let's get a couple more in here. Let's go to Dustin in Willow Grove.
Hi, Dustin. Good morning, buddy.
Happy draft day, boys.
Happy
Dustin.
draft day.
All right, I will give John Kincade. I will give you the name. Let's go with Clark Phillips III.
Is a draft prospect.
Wow, yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, that was quick. Acting like you heard of him before, haven't
Draft prospect.
you? Can you tell me what school?
I believe a Conference USA school.
Utah.
No, really?
Yeah, Utah cornerback. Grab that one because Jamie just mentioned it. But he wins Dustin a $50 Metro Dining gift card. Visit metrodiner.com for details. And then we'll go to, we'll wrap it up with Tim and Concha.
By the way, we're pitching a perfect game here.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of them was, let's just say.
Well, we helped Jamie with
botched
Afro Man.
A botched third call, but yeah, third strike. All right, let's go to, Tim and Conchi. And you're going to be playing with Bob Cooney to wrap things up. Let's go with James Blaine.
James Blaine?
Yeah, James Blaine.
Oh, James Blaine, I'm going to have to go with. Shoot, I'm not good on this one. I'm going to have to go with presidential candidate, though, Tim.
Presidential candidate James Blaine. It is yes.
Oh, the perfect game's alive.
James Blaine lost in 1884 to Grover Cleveland.
Grover's
Not Grover Cleveland Alexander, but Grover Cleveland.
Grover's
The
a name
pitcher.
you just don't hear anymore. Not enough parents go into the Grover well.
Or Ulysses.
Which
was what we brought up
Wait a minute.
earlier.
Pat, we have a perfect game going.
Yeah, we got to keep
And
it
the
going.
ninth inning. This is the
Now,
ninth inning.
Now, real quick.
Oh,
Now, Tim just won Scream 6 on digital. Ghostface
Okay.
is back, more terrifying than ever. Get more than an hour of killer bonus content when you buy it on digital. Available at participating retailers. Rated R.
One last one.
One last one. Let's go to
Yanni.
Yanni, yeah, Yanni in Collegeville.
Yep, Yanni.
Good morning, everyone. Happy draft day.
All right, it's ninth inning, perfect game. Jamie Lynch is on the mound.
Jamie, the name I'm going to give you is Connor Roy. Connor Roy. Did he run for president?
I know this, Pat. Presidential candidate.
Presidential candidate Connor Roy's got 1% of the vote. Yes. He's pushing hard for that 2%.
In HBO's hit series, Succession.
Yes.
There you go.
Connor Roy,
Excellent.
the fake celebrity, just won Yanni Scream 6 on digital. Ghostface is back, more terrifying than ever. Get over an hour of killer bonus content when you buy it on digital, available at participating retailers. Buy it today, rated R.
There you go. Congratulations. A perfect game in that game.
Pat, you were flawless.
Pat, you did a great job today.
I just
Proud
can't
of
get over
you.
that Jamie Hemden Hawd.
I thought it was like
being an NFL draft prospect. I mean that idea. Well, he's got character concerns. He did fail a few drug tests.
Well, like the coldest ever is playing at Nebraska, so I thought somebody just maybe made their name Afro Man like as a middle
Afro
name.
Man, like his
There's a major.
People are
something
getting wild with
yeah.
names these days.
It's
Who am I?
kooky.
Afro Man.
So apparently he ran before too.
Well, maybe there was He Hate Me.
Ran.
That was Rod Smart.
Yeah,
Rod Smart.
He had a cup of coffee with the Eagles, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
He Hate Me, and that was from the first
XFL.
the second version of the
that was
first
for the
XFL.
Yeah, he was like the first star from the XFL. Him and Tommy Maddox were like the two big names that came from the first go around of the XFL.
Oh my God!
The coldest to ever do it, playing for Nebraska, has the greatest NIL endorsement of all time. He is like the Lincoln, Nebraska HVAC, like the big guy.
Okay.
He has an endorsement from them because his name is the coldest to ever do it.
That's pretty
Wow,
good.
that's a really good one.
That's a great endorsement.
Pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
The,
gonna see some of that coming up.
Okay, so tonight, I've heard many times how the crew here watches games from their couches on a Sunday afternoon or when there's multiple things going on. On draft night, Bob, one TV, phone, that's it?
I don't know. I was thinking about this last night. I might go double TV, one on top of the other tonight.
Because there is
go down
more
the
tonight.
basement.
Tonight there's some distractions.
There's distractions. It's going to be a phone, probably 2 TV night. Yeah, I might have to set all that up before I go out so that it'll be ready for me when I get home.
If LaSalle does their job and gets you out on
They'll be all right. LaSalle take care of me. Because
They
you
will.
go into LaSalle a boy and you come out a man or something stupid like that. What was your high school thing?
Boys will be boys, but LaSalle boys will always be gentlemen.
Yeah, that's weird.
Is that what your thing was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not going to the high school. I'm going to the university.
Oh, yeah,
I thought it
but
was
whatever.
where the men are men and the sheep are nervous. That's a different.
No, it's a different school.
Different school. Different school
Yeah,
at
it's
that
the
point. I can only imagine is this is an idea we need to think about. I'd rather watch the Kincade Show crew sitting live from the basement, watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll have the 2 TVs set up, watching Celtics Hawks on one. Nice of the Phillies to have a day game today to get out of the way of the distraction of the night, and then draft on the big screen. And I typically pace around the Eagles pick. I'm chill throughout. I'm scrolling Twitter. I do find out the picks typically before they go on because I'm a Twitter addict, and I'm okay admitting that.
So you have to find it out before?
No, I'm just on Twitter, and it just happens. It's not like I search it out. You know
Over
what I mean?
under on tweets tonight from Jamie Lynch. I'm going to set it at 27.5.
That's high. I was going to go like 12.5.
Yeah, probably more in the mid-teens. We'll see. We'll see.
picks.
I mean, if a lot of trades happen, who knows?
I already said it earlier. I am going to be so pissed off. Howie Roseman, I am going to soap your car windows. If I stay up until
And then he
11:40 at night
trades
and he
it.
trades that damn pick.
I could see it happening.
I know I could. And I'd be like, seriously?
It just cost me an hour of sleep. Howie.
An hour? I mean, no, because the Eagles pick, if they trade back, let's say they even trade back.
Like 9:15?
Yeah, I'd go to bed. I'd go to bed.
I would watch
after seeing Celtics Hawks.
Yeah.
I want to see Celtics Hawks, and I want to see the Eagles' first pick. But because of the second pick, I'm staying up. If he trades that pick at 11:40 at night, seriously, no one's staying up to watch stupid James Corden.
It might be a 3
watch
p.m.
it.
coffee type of day.
Oh my gosh.
Coffee and then a beer.
All right, we have our lots more to come. Howie, is it room to question, though, Howie, all the confidence we're giving him? That's coming your way next. John Kincade Show.
97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know, Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. You can explore more at your local Staples store. Are your wives ready for the school year to be over? Jamie, Pat?
Oh, God, yeah.
Been a long year?
I mean, I didn't go through it, but it feels like a long year to me.
Patty? Long year in your house for your
tried
teacher?
to stab another student with a pencil yesterday. So, they're ready to be over.
I have a little graphite mark in the middle of my chest from my buddy doing that.
I remember you. Yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah, my buddy, who's actually passed, R.I.P., tapped me in line and turned around and he just jammed the pencil right into my
into your chest?
Yeah, we were
Cool,
like
man.
second grade. Yeah, no, it wasn't cool.
No, that's really uncool.
Yeah, so I have a little mark there.
And he's passed?
Yeah, so we won't talk ill of the dead.
Did he shiv somebody else? Or
No, I think his shiving days were over after that.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Kids are idiots.
There was a kid who in second grade pushed Liv at the pencil sharpener.
Which doesn't even exist anymore.
And I hated that kid. I hated that
Her
kid
life?
the entire yes. And they went through 12 years of school together.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stand the kid. And I would always bring up, whenever my wife would say, he's a nice boy. Look what, and I'd be like, no.
No, he's not.
He's not. He's a little punk that shoved a little girl. And she was like, second grade.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Yeah, second grade tells his character. It's just terrible stuff. Jamie joins us thanks to the Daily Odds Pod from BetPark Sportsbook and the BetPark Sportsbook app.
Yeah, it's already out this morning. Put it out daily by usually 7 a.m., 20-minute daily, all-encompassing podcast.
Do you wake the girls up?
No, I do it that early. One, because it can find more ears, but two, so I can be ready to cook them breakfast and take over daddy daycare.
Which is always good.
Oh, yeah, he was telling me the story the other day when I was at his house that Addie, his wife, woke up late for work. And so she was scrambling, getting ready, and as she was running out the door, he handed her a cup of coffee, a sandwich, some carrots, some hummus.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh,
dude,
I
spoiled.
said, dude, I don't know who you are anymore.
I'm a great Mr. Mom. If she could like really make it big and pull in some big bucks, she'd be set, man.
She needs a role on Abbott Elementary. Like
we caught up recently. This show's great.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's awesome.
They of course, Mr. Continuity here, who is bothered by stupid stuff on TV shows.
Of course.
I didn't like that their end of the year field trip was to the Franklin Institute the other night, and the kids were all wearing scarves and gloves and winter jackets.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a big oversight.
I said that was bad.
What do you mean?
Quinta.
Well, if it's the end of the year
on the episode, it was the end of the year field trip to celebrate like their last week of school.
Like it gets chilly here.
Gloves, hats, and scarves.
Glove, hats, and scarves. End of the year. No, not so much.
It was that rare 45-degree June day.
I think Quinta a little asleep at the wheel on that one.
It's all right.
She messed up.
Well, she had her family there to watch the filming.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. Her family for the first time was there to watch one of the episodes be filmed and all. And she had some relatives, actually, nieces and nephews and stuff that were
in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They did a sleepover at the Franklin Institute, by the way.
Yeah, you can do that.
Do they do that?
Yeah, you can sleep in the. You can have a sleepover in the. What do you call it? The observer? No.
Yeah. The
Is it?
I think Little Ant did that, or the Natural History Museum.
Is it the school does it, or does it?
I think I don't know.
Is it like a birthday party does?
Yeah, I think you can do all those options.
Yeah, I know. Like Cub Scout troops will rent it out. Basically, you can rent it out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I thought it was a fake thing.
No, Night at the Museum's a thing for a reason.
No, but I thought it was a fake thing because I was guessing that they had to film the episode when the public wasn't in there.
No, they
so
probably
they
just
came
rented
up
a night,
with the
yeah.
storyline. Oh no, it was in it. And you see all the things in the like they're walking through the heart.
That's cool.
They're doing all the stuff.
I didn't see the finale yet.
Okay,
so.
you'll see. You'll enjoy
nice.
it. You'll enjoy it. Well, I didn't like the ending, but we'll see if you do. We love Howie as a roster builder. We love Howie as a trader. We love Howie as a free agent signer. But why is it exactly we're all so gung-ho that he's going to get it right tonight with 2 first-round picks with his draft history of first-round draft picks, where honestly, other than Devontae Smith, can you rattle off the winners? He doesn't do well in the first round at all. And everybody's very, very confident that he's got this. He's got this. Howie has all those other things. Salary cap, A+. Trades, A+. just the idea for a free agent signing, especially like secondary members. But Howie's first-round draft history is terrible. I would say no higher than a D for drafting first-round draft picks. And I'm giving Devontae Smith as the pick that is his best.
Yeah, well, I think one of the reasons that we are pretty confident is because this team is already really good.
Okay, but what does that have to do with the draft?
You don't need a game changer at 1, at 10, at 30 if you so choose to stay there. In years past, when you had good high draft picks, it most likely was a position that you had to get a guy to change the things. Yeah, need to change what this team is about.
Okay,
yeah,
it's a little better, but he's missed on so many first-round draft picks. His first-round draft pick history, I went through yesterday. I give it a D. He's
Probably
not good.
fair.
He's not good in the first round.
I think part of it is what Bob said for sure, that you're not pressing and dying for a game changer at wide receiver for once or whatever. I think the other part of it is it's 10th overall. It's not very often we're drafting up here. So if you assume that 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10, you're probably getting one of the best 5 or 6 players.
That'd be awesome.
At a different position. So I guess the thought at 10 is it's kind of hard to screw up. I just looked back at all the number 10 picks over the last 15 years. It does seem to be a big area for quarterbacks taken, but a lot of guys are really, really good players too. So, it's.
What was Mahomes taken at?
He was 10th.
10th.
Yeah,
Okay.
in 2017. So you have Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, 2 home runs in back-to-back years. Jedrick Wilson for the Browns, Devin Bush, Josh Rosen, Reach, Patrick Mahomes, Eli Apple, Todd Gurley, Eric Ebron, Stephon Gilmore, Michael Crabtree.
And if you went last year, they had the 6th. They traded back to the 12th to get the extra first-round draft pick, and then moved up to 10 to jump the Giants 2 years ago to go and get
Which they're
Devontae
still not
Smith,
over, which was awesome.
which is still delicious.
All right, here's a different way to look at it to see a failure or not. Let's look at the past first-round picks that Howie took and if they would fit on this team.
All right.
Okay, so you have this team as currently constructed. You took a fatty last year in Jordan Davis, still to be determined.
Still to be determined.
I think we all like it. Devontae Smith, we all know, yes. A slot wide receiver in Jalen Reagor for this offense, the way it's currently constructed.
I would not like that pick.
Probably not. You could have gone elsewhere, as we very well know. A backup offensive tackle for this team, Andre Dillard.
No, wouldn't have liked
at 22. No, wouldn't have liked that pick either. A defensive end, Derek Barnett, who's the all-time leading sack guy at Tennessee.
I liked the pick when they made it. I liked the pick, so I can't be a hypocrite
Now, in generalities, if we look at it, we could say, all right, he was taken at 14. They could move back at 14 and get somebody, a defensive end, that was a sack machine in college, and we'd probably be happy. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
You can look at that. Carson Wentz, I'll leave out of it. And Aguilar is another slot receiver. Would you have been okay? Now, Jamie, he had some good years. As you and I, we've talked about this. Aguilar had some decent years. So taking maybe a slot receiver, he was at 20, and you moved back and got that. Would you be okay with it?
I'd be iffy on that one.
Yeah, okay.
Barnett's the one you say, though, that I thought Barnett was a home run pick.
And then last one.
I liked it.
If you move back to mid-20s and took a linebacker, now it was Marcus Smith, but remember, it's this team. If you drop back to 26, got a lot of assets, and took a linebacker that you thought you could plug and play as a starter, would you be okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of it is, there were spots to fill, and the team was okay. I think this team is really good. That's why I say I think the blueprint for tonight is really good unless they totally.
Okay, you just took that, and it's why we don't do the show before the show on this show, is that's too many shows. But that's why we don't do it, because that's a really interesting way to look at it. I looked at it one way, and it was very negative, and you looked at it a different way, and
it just popped into my head as I was looking at it.
That Howie's in a different position than when he was making those picks.
A little more stress-free, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be feeling really, really good. And by the way, I am thrilled. I didn't want Howie Roseman fired. So, I mean, I'm like, I wasn't in the Howie camp. I'm a fan of Howie Roseman. I've just always thought this is the worst thing that he does.
Well,
first-round draft picks is the worst thing on his resume in his history.
I think the last 2 or 3 years, people feel better about him again because he appears to be listening to the scouts and shopping in the SEC.
Yes.
So I think there has been a change in his drafting.
I got something on that.
So I do think that helps feel a little bit better too.
I got something on that I had dug up the other day, by the way, that that I really, really enjoy because it may be a little bit of a cheat sheet. It was from Alabama.com, which is AL.com. And they wrote about they were talking about the Alabama draft prospects, and they said how Howie Roseman and the Eagles staff have become fixtures around the Alabama program.
Good, I like that.
So is that
if they end up with Jamar Gibbs at 30,
is Gibbs like that?
I'm ready to party
because I can promise you that's how he's looked upon in Athens. As now Howie and his crew, they are one of the franchises who spends the most time around the Georgia football program.
Well, those two programs are NFL, basically minor leagues. So,
but he's out.
You'd be pretty dumb not to.
But he's outdoing his peers. Like it's known.
Good.
That they're spending more resources, more time on it.
Good. I'd set up an office in each town. Like, honestly, I'm not even joking. Like, forget a travel scout. Just have one guy that rents like
a local,
a 600 square foot office in Tuscaloosa and Athens.
How much could office space cost right now?
Seriously,
Alabama.
And then just have him fly back and forth or drive back and forth.
It is Pat. You would absolutely love Tuscaloosa.
I'm sure it's.
You would love. You would love the. Like just all the spots because you like all the breakfast spots.
Yeah,
like the little kitchen.
Is it a town that shuts down at 8 p.m.?
No.
Okay.
Because of the college kids, though. That's the only because of the college kids.
Co-eds.
You would look a little
chicks.
Yes. Lots of co-eds.
Southern Belle.
Keg parties.
Yes.
Sundresses.
Let's just say it's not wandering a campus up here.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Since 1960.
Okay.
You guys are going to have to take a guess on this. How many Hall of Famers do you think the Eagles have drafted in the first round?
Do Lane Johnson and Fletcher Cox count?
No, they're not Hall of Famers.
They will be.
That's not the question.
That's not it.
Oh, God. I would go with 4.
First round.
I mean, does Reggie White count because he was a supplemental pick used with a first-round draft pick?
Yeah, Brian Dawkins, Reggie White.
Brian Dawkins was second round.
Second round. Brian Dawkins, second round. Reggie White
should count.
He should count because he was acquired for
supplemental pick.
Supplemental pick.
Supplemental pick.
I didn't count him in here because it wasn't listed on their original draft picks.
Okay.
So I'll say 3, including Reggie.
We're not including Reggie.
You got Mike Quick as
2.
1.
Mike Quick,
I don't believe was a first rounder.
I think he was.
I thought he was second, but
Pretty
I could
sure
be
he was
wrong.
first round.
We can look this up.
Only
The
there was
internet
a
has
big
it.
odds.
No, I got it. I have it right here.
He says
That's
he's
why
not.
I'm telling you. I have one, and his name is Bob Brown, a tackle from 1964.
Oh, of course.
Who could forget Bob Brown?
Not a lot of people.
No, Mike Quick was first round pick.
Oh, wow.
But he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yes, he's not a Hall of Fame.
Okay, never mind.
You need to listen.
wow, that really is.
One. That's amazing. First round pick since 1960. You have one Hall of Famer, and he was a tackle.
Okay, that's terrible. In fact.
Wow.
Well, Fletcher Cox and Lane Johnson
will get there.
Lane Johnson is going.
So they'll double the output. So that's a credit to Howie Roseman.
Fletcher Cox is a no doubt Hall of Famer.
He's an all-decade player. Yeah.
See, I think Lane
We've gone back and forth.
See, I think Lane Johnson is an absolute no questions asked. Jason Kelsey is not a first rounder. He's a sixth rounder.
Yeah, I think those two are no doubt.
Those two are in. I'm not. I have swear to you, I'm not. Sold
It's
on,
hard, if you go look at the all-decade teams, it's hard to find a guy that's not.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to besmirch.
No, I don't think you
Cox.
are. But
I'm
yeah, I
just
think
saying,
he's in.
Wow.
There's been a lot of bad first round picks. Listen to their first round picks, just real quick, from 83 to like 86. Michael Haddix.
I remember that.
Running back who did absolutely nothing.
Bad.
Then you went Kenny Jackson at number 4 in 1984 from Penn State.
Yeah,
was Michael Haddix Mississippi State?
Yes.
And didn't he get in trouble?
I don't think Haddix did,
With
but
the
the
girl
guy
at
the
the
next
beach?
year, no, that was Kevin Allen.
That was Kevin Allen.
In Margate, 1985,
Yes.
number 9 overall.
That was not good.
And then you went Keith Byers, who, debatable, went number 10 overall. Had a nice career, but was never a very good runner. Became a pass catcher and threw some touchdowns. then you did better by going Jerome Brown and Keith Jackson and stuff like that.
I saw a comparable thing that Bijan Robinson, they're like, well, if Eagles fans will love it because he's Keith Byers. And I'm like, okay, Keith Byers was a nice player. But if they draft Bijan Robinson, like up 10th, 13th, whatever it is, 10th, 12th, 13th, and he ends up being Keith Byers, I'm not happy.
No, Keith Byers was a hell of a runner at Ohio State, but he had feet problems. And when he came to the NFL, he was just too slow. So they made him more into a pass catching,
feet or foot, both.
He had
2 feet.
Wow! Draft that guy in the first round.
What's the knock on this prospect? Well, he's really good.
He has 1 foot.
Got 2 feet.
Was it both feet? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't remember that story.
Didn't he have?
He said feet, which made me think both.
Maybe if he had 2 injuries on 1 foot, it would be feet.
You're an idiot.
What the hell is going on right now? Like ever since Afro Man,
this is Bob's draft guide.
Oh my God!
2 feet.
He had problems with his
foot
that
or
hold
feet?
shoes.
With one or both?
Yep.
That sounds like a real issue.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bob, are you drunk?
Yeah, Bob, what's going on?
Did you file orders and drink on air?
And look, PJ's is great, Bob. I mean, it's always fun to head to PJ's, but
love me some PJ's.
You didn't go to PJ's before the show, did you? You didn't break into the Cherry Hill location.
I tried. Nobody let me in.
Trying to find their way in here tonight. Okay, the ritual on draft night. One of our listeners here, Alan, says his ritual on draft night is always to have a jersey on by dinner time. He wears his jersey before dinner time, and he will wear his jersey throughout the draft tonight. Do you gentlemen ever get out your Eagles gear just to watch something like the draft? Now, last year, we were all wearing Eagles gear, not jerseys, but like hoodies and things like that when we were out in Vegas for the draft.
I busted out the Eagles hoodie today.
We wore Eagles stuff, but but not jerseys. I don't think it's a jersey occasion.
No. Wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
I got that. He's asking us whether we do it.
No, I don't.
I have before.
You have?
Yeah, I have. I think I might have worn one last year. I don't remember.
I don't remember you wearing one that night.
I have, and I have some pretty bad ones. So, I might get some use. Might throw that Kiko Alonso jersey on tonight. Who knows? It might get wild.
Well, here's the follow-up question. What player drafted tonight would move any one of you to go to Rally House and grab that player's jersey before they ever take a snap? I'd do a Bijan Robinson replica.
If they trade up, Will Anderson.
Will Anderson's a game record. That's another good one, though.
Yeah.
But you would look good in a Will Anderson. I would not.
And Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know they're probably not going to do it, but I would be pretty pumped.
What does that mean? He would look good in a Will Anderson jersey, but
I would look a bigger guy.
Yeah,
looks much better. Like, what's Will Anderson's number going to be?
87.
I mean, I don't know what is.
That's a tight end number, Bob.
That's a tight end.
The numbers are all skewed now. You got defensive backs wearing 2. You're allowed to wear 0. You don't know anything.
That's
Jamie.
why
you're stupid.
Pat getting the Mailata jersey is funny because he's small and Mailata's a giant.
Like I wouldn't get the Mailata jersey just because it wouldn't look the same. There's certain numbers, that I don't think look as good on different frames.
Like you would look weird in a linebacker jersey.
You would look weird. Bob would look weird in 94.
You're a tight end wide receiver guy.
Yes, Bob would look good in a.
You guys are idiots.
Bob, you would have looked good in a Miles Sanders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
27.
You're a skill position guy. All right, you're not
Bob,
trench
it's
warfare.
a compliment to you.
Yeah,
that you would look better with that.
I'm a trenches guy.
Yeah, okay.
Jamie looks like he'd wear it right.
You couldn't rock a Kelsey.
I found myself doing you yesterday.
Kelsey wouldn't look good on Bob.
Yeah, it would look out of place.
So you couldn't wear a throwback, what, Mike Quick?
No.
Mike Quick wouldn't look good on you.
In my more slender days, I had a TO.
I don't know what the hell the size of you has to do with the jersey you're wearing.
It's like a bra.
Because then why would they have extra large jerseys for Boston Scott?
Because people are idiots, Pat.
It's like a breast, Bob. You know it when you see it.
Pat, do you agree with Jamie and I, or are you on Team Bob?
I sort of understand what you guys are saying. If I like the player, though, I'm going to get the jersey. I mean, I don't really care what.
I think your Mailata is fantastic. But I think it's not about fashion sense. It's just about what looks.
Well, no, it is because you're saying what looks good.
Looks good. That's
so
fashion.
What looks good. Numbers on play. Like, did you people pick numbers that I think look good on them.
No, I picked the player that's talented.
You don't think that?
I just picked
Bob,
the player.
you've never seen you've
People pick numbers that look good on them. They're numbers.
Nice slimming 11.
Well, I don't know what that means.
I picked 11, not because
like a
AJ Brown
single
was good, but because
digit.
it's slimming.
A single digit can look good on anybody. If you're a little paunchy, a little pudge in the middle, a single digit you can carry off.
What in the world are we talking about?
I have no idea.
I guarantee you.
I think the original question of what player, I don't have one.
What do you say? Would there be anybody? Bijan Robinson.
I don't follow.
Bijan would be the best seller.
Bijan would be the best seller, I think.
I don't follow the draft enough to have a player that I'm in love with.
Okay, so there's nobody.
For me, no.
There's nobody who's going to get you to whoop it up tonight. If they pick
for
him.
me, no.
No, so I mean, if Bijan's picked,
No, I'd lose rational thinking at that point and get nuts.
I'm
And I
gonna
would
get
whoop it
nuts.
up, yeah,
I will get nuts.
I wouldn't
it's
hate
hard-
that at all.
It's hard for me personally to fall in love with a player that I just found out existed 4 weeks ago.
Okay, you see that.
So
that's
and that's
different.
the
Okay, I
problem.
got you.
I don't follow college football enough. If you do, though, you probably have a guy that you've lashed onto. I used to follow the draft like so heavy, like Jamie, and then I just got out of it a couple years ago. I just don't have enough time to do it. But for me, no, there's nobody.
I love the Bijan would just be, to me, would be I'd be smiling so wide.
You want to hear
would be so happy.
what Kuiper wrote about it?
Yeah, what did he write?
He said the Eagles might prefer to trade back, but why not take an elite runner receiver who could help them win now? It might go against the organization's philosophy to take a running back this high, but the fit is logical, whether it's at number 10 or a few spots later. If it's not Robinson, I thought about tackle guard Peter Skoronski.
Can't do it.
Ugh.
Can't do it.
I don't want Skoronski.
I'm going to puke. If they Skoronski will make me puke.
Really?
Yeah.
I just trust him.
I'm not drafting a guard in the top 10. I'm just not doing it.
I don't think they're
that's
either.
Bad business. That's worse. You know what? Drafting a guard in the top 10 is more ridiculous than people who are saying.
But he can play tackle potentially too.
I don't believe he can with those arms.
I trust Stoutland over you.
He'd have the smallest arms.
But in defense of John, Stoutland probably vouched for Andre Dillard, and he
Correct.
sucked.
Well,
and by
it's
the
not
way,
perfect. Is my point. I'm a big Stoutland guy. You guys
Yeah,
know
we're
that. But
big Stoutland.
it's not like this guy is batting 1,000.
wait a minute. Other than Jordan, take Jordan Mailata off his development resume. He's a really, really good coach. I love Jeff Stoutland. But Jeff Stoutland didn't make Kelsey and didn't make Lane Johnson.
No, but you can.
So I mean, who was the like?
I mean, Landon
like,
Dickerson went back to guard, which he hadn't played for 2 years.
Yeah,
he
and
was-
I don't
and he
know.
was
Lane
also a
Johnson hasn't let up a sack in 2 years. I mean, I
Yeah, but I
assume
think
his
Lane Johnson was
improvement.
the fourth pick in the draft.
But I wasn't a Sayamalu guy, but a lot of people were.
I got
he was
you.
a third-round pick that you could put Big V, who got paid as a fifth
Yeah,
round
Big
pick.
V stepped in. Sayamalu is a big one.
No, I mean, I think
I think Stoutland's resume is every time they have an injury, it seems like at least, every
They can
time somebody
plug.
goes down, they can plug in a guy and you don't notice the drop-off nearly as much as you thought you would. There is a drop-off, but not as much as you
he
thought.
squeezed a lot out of Jack Driscoll. A lot out of juice out of that lemon because I think.
Yeah, and we'll see what Cam Jurgens is.
Halapuli Vadi Vaitai.
Well, Cam
Squeeze
Jurgens.
something out of
Yeah,
that.
Pat said
that's
that.
really good.
Oh, did he?
You love being able to rattle off good names.
Oh, he said Big V. I just wanted to say Halapuli Vadi Vaitai. And for you numbers geeks, if they do go Bijan Robinson, the number 5 on the Eagles is available. Now, John, I don't know
What do you
what
mean
the
it's
fashion
available?
says. Number 5 is available. There's no number 5 on
It's
the Eagles
retired.
right now. Who's number 5?
Donovan.
Number 5 will always love you.
shoot.
Are you
That's
a
right.
football guy?
Wow.
Bob, it's not a bad
I would
day
take
for
it
you.
out of retirement for
I
him.
thought he was number 10. I thought he was going to wear 10 in the NFL.
10
are
might be
you-
taken on the Eagles.
Are you drunk?
I thought he was
Seriously.
I thought he was hoping.
What?
I thought he was hoping to wear 10.
I
but that's
forgot
not
that
gonna
they
work.
retired his number
Oh my gosh!
because I didn't always love him. I couldn't stand being bent over like that.
Bob's.
What the hell? Where do you get
This
these
is really
things
going
from?
a little off the rails. You want to share some
Every
thoughts?
time
It's
Jamie
draft
comes
day
in,
with us.
Don't blame me.
I
Yes.
could bang a pumpkin pie.
610-632-0975. It's draft day. It's going to get wilder. Tyrone and Devon will take you through the night with all the picks, too. John Kincade Show.
Stage Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know what Pat Egan loves?
2-on-1.
Nifty 50s.
Yes, I do.
Did you know Nifty 50s is a 10-time Best of Philly winner?
The
Pat
crime that
stuffs
it's not
the ballot
1,000
box.
time. It should be 1,000-time Best of Philly winner.
Nifty 50s restaurant with 7 and soon to be 8 locations. They're opening one up near Jamie Lynch. Tell me that place ain't going to be busy.
Mm-hmm.
Online at nifty50s.com.
My dad used to take me to the one in the Northeast a lot. After,
Yeah, the Grand Avenue?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
After
my
like
go-to
Mayfair
for a while.
Shamrock games and stuff, we used to go there all the time. I love that place.
Nifty 50s is going to be back as our June breakfast sponsor, too, for our open house show.
I hit the Fishtown one sometimes when I leave here. And it's not really close to my house, but I'll go
crowded.
the opposite way.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it's
pretty
always,
crowded.
It's always got a nice crowd, and I usually order online. I'll drive to Fishtown, get my stuff, and then I'll drive home and eat it.
I've only been to one Nifty 50s near my old house, and it also had miniature golf upstairs. And all the Nifty 50s? Yeah, I swear to God.
No, they don't.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Yeah, it
That's
had
not a Jersey
arcade
thing.
machines.
Salem used
Had,
to.
yeah, a little, I think 9-hole. Yeah, it's
the one in
awesome.
Ben Salem was kind of like that, and then they had a fire. And I don't know if they rebuilt it like that, but yeah, it's a great spot.
All right, I got a question
Close
for you
to my
guys concerning the draft.
Okay.
Somebody just put up on Twitter, you guys remember this, the War Room draft picture of or video of Howie coming in and fisting everybody.
And Tom Donahue.
What?
Yeah, and Tom Donahue.
Everybody,
Jeez.
what is wrong
What
with
You're on the
you?
wrong website.
That's
Dude,
not
you went on lobstertube.com and typed in fisting.
Who was
draft.
the draft pick that they were?
Milton Williams.
Yeah,
Was it Milton Williams?
It was.
And it was
Okay.
And
Tom Donahue was
Donahue.
not
Todd
happy.
Donahue. He was not. Todd Donahue.
And who was the
right?
guy at the time that he wanted allegedly? It was reported. Oh, I'm gonna have to look.
I
that
have to
up.
go
Yeah, I
back
thought
into
you
the
guys
draft.
had this off the top of your head, but that was one of the most
Oh,
uncomfortable
sorry, man. We were thrown
videos
off
ever.
by your fisting talk.
Number 5
My
will
bad.
always love you.
Howie came into the room and started.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. The guy gives him a fist pump, half-ass, and then Howie stands there and puts his hands up in the air like, what? What's wrong? Very strange.
Yeah, one of those guys has brought us to 2 Super Bowls and won one. And it's, he's Howie wants the proper fist bump. He's looking for that. I love the idea of what we're going to see tonight. I'm absolutely blown away by this. But Jamie, you haven't gotten to talk Sixers with us.
Yeah.
And I wonder because, Bob, we talked about this last week. Doc Rivers said he thought it was an advantage for the teams that played in the play-in tournament. So is too much time off? Is 9 days off between games too much come playoff time?
If we were fully healthy, I would say probably too much. But it's another instance of Joel needing some rest. So here I can't view it any other way as a positive. But I do think normally it's too much.
I go back and forth on it. I think it's directly related to the team. If I had to categorize it one way, I would say no, it's not a good thing for any team. But then you look at this Sixers team, and you have Tobias Harris, 30-plus years. You have James Harden, 30-plus years. You have Joel Embiid fighting an injury. P.J. Tucker's 37. So this time off probably isn't bad for those older and one injured legs. So I can see you getting out of a rhythm, but that should be overshadowed by playing a team in the next round that had to go 6-7 games and use a lot of energy.
It pisses me off, Pat, that the New York Knicks are getting ready to host game 1 in the next round when they didn't sniff where the Sixers are in the standings. And they've got home court advantage because the NBA's stupid seeding policy.
I would love to find an explanation on why they do this.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, they really should recede.
By the way, Tyrone's a fan of it. Tyrone goes, I heard on the best show ever. They go, well, how else would you pre-scout the next round? I said, how do they do it in any sport? You want to the best team deserves the weakest matchup in every round.
You pre-scout by the 82 games you played in the regular season. They played. There's plenty of film on everybody. That's why you have your...
Yeah, there's no secrets, right?
This is the NBA, which has an 82-game schedule where a lot of their stars are taking games of maintenance off. They let 20 teams go to the postseason. And then they don't reseed, so you get they don't even benefit their better teams? It makes no sense to me. And I can't believe it's something that Adam Silver hasn't addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do some digging and find out why. Maybe we can get an answer by the end of the show.
It might simply be, it's in his opinion, it's not broke, so don't fix it. But then again, to counter that, the dude's about to start an in-game play-in tournament type thing that nobody's asking for. So I can't figure it out.
I mean, I really don't understand the logic that they're sitting in a room and they discuss this and there's
You should
logic.
want your best matchup in the finals.
Like, why do Miami and the Knicks get a chance to play off to go to the conference finals?
It doesn't make any sense.
Sixers and Boston were both distinctly better than both of those teams.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And it makes no sense. So if we're looking ahead slightly at Atlanta Hawks, do you want to make friends with your friends in Atlanta again?
Oh, I've been Icy Trey, honorable Trey Young. Come on, man.
We're rooting for him tonight.
One more.
Come on, Trey.
I have always loved that
It'd
guy.
be honorable if he won tonight.
So honorable.
Yeah.
And he seems to really thrive when people do the FU Trey Young chant. So, hopefully it's back in Atlanta tonight. But hopefully some Celtics fans, get it going and really fire him up. He's booting Janet Jackson out of the building.
Yes.
Yeah, how about that?
So,
Miss
said
Jackson,
he was
if you're
sorry, though.
nasty.
Yeah, do it for Janet, Trey. Do it for Janet.
It's great. Is everybody's
He asked her to come to the game.
everybody's went out and got
I would too. Yeah,
everyone
me too.
out and got their brand new Hawks gear.
Yeah, I bet. Now there's hope again.
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago it was get rid of Trey,
Yeah.
move on from Trey.
Mhm.
This is terrible, rebuild, and now it's
I gotta
get out and get some Hawks gear.
I gotta say the Celtics look human.
That's what I say.
They look human. They're deep, and everybody would love a Malcolm Brogdon off the bench and some of their bench pieces, but they don't.
Their defense looked really shaky the other night.
Yeah, they
It didn't
not
look like them.
They're not scaring me right now.
Do you think they were in any way? Bob's probably going to scoff. Overlooking an opponent.
Probably.
That game five, it seemed like they thought they were going home and they just closed it out in 5. Sort of like the Sixers last year against Toronto.
Kind of.
When they were up 3-1, they came home and Wells Fargo Center, and then they played crappily. I mean, it just makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And I don't scoff at that. I mean, there are times where you just get in a rut, you get out there and you don't have it or whatever, and you're looking around and you're saying, is it me? Is it somebody else? I got to get moving. And before you know it, 48 minutes is up and you're on the losing
And you
end.
call the
Yeah.
By the way, the player Tom Donahue wanted was Elam McNeil,
So, in other words, Howie was right.
a defensive tackle for the Lions.
Howie was right.
I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
Milton showed
Howie's-
promise.
Milton's got more promise there.
I
you hear his
haven't
name.
watched that
know
much.
Yeah, but you hear
nothing
his
about
name.
the other guy. You
People
know
in
him?
Detroit no, but you're hearing his name.
People in Detroit have no idea who Milton Williams
Yeah,
is.
exactly. That's why we're hearing his name.
Hey, Daryl's on a cell. Daryl, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, buddy.
I'm not a big fan of reseeding.
Why?
Well, for a few reasons. One, it's a tournament. Just like, not just like, but similar to March Madness. We wouldn't want the March Madness to reseed.
Oh, I would.
You would?
Yeah, if you could, you don't. The reason they don't do it in March Madness is because they have to play in
On
travel
sites.
and travel pods and sites. That's completely different situation. Why wouldn't the best teams deserve the easiest path?
The best team should win the championship.
No, but they should have the easiest path like they do in other sports.
Yeah, but you have injuries during the season. You have injuries in the playoffs.
In every other sport you do too. In every other sport you do also.
Well, I'm not a big fan for that, but we weren't talking about that. But I'm not.
No, we are talking about that because it matters. What do you play the regular season for then? It's an exhibition? 82-game exhibition?
No, it's not an exhibition. It's so that when you first start the playoffs, you have the easiest seed.
Well, then that's what. Then you're arguing for reseeding. Then
I'm not arguing for reseeding because you got to start somewhere.
no, you start it where you give the teams the best advantage that had the
do that in
best
round
regular
one, right?
season. No,
Okay.
you have it
You
for.
don't do that in round one.
No, you always have the best path to a championship because over 82 games, you were the best. Why should the Knicks and the Heat be playing in one series when two teams that were decidedly better than them, the Sixers and if it's Boston, why would they have to play? It makes no sense.
So that happens so rarely, it's ridiculous, one. And then two, the Heat balled out. They proved they were a better team than the Bucks right now.
No, they had Giannis out for
So
3 of the
are they
games
not
of the
a better
series.
team or not? Are they not a better team or not?
No, they're not. They had Giannis out for 3 games. Darryl, do you think if Giannis plays in that series healthy, They don't beat Miami?
So right now, with Giannis out, the Bucks are not the number 1 seed.
Giannis wasn't out, though. Giannis did get to play last night. He got to come back. And by the way, as you heard in the broadcast,
10 of 23 from the free throw
line.
They
didn't look for him to. He wouldn't, if they were in a 2-2, he wouldn't have played, or the announcer sort of said to
a performance like that, you just have to admire Joel Embiid even more. Because Joel Embiid, I said to Bob during the break, he's probably going 21 of 23 from the line.
He's unbelievable from the line.
It's like the most overlooked aspect of his game is that this dude at 7'3" is like a 90% free throw shooter. It's a great thing to have this time of year.
Egan put it perfectly in the middle of the season. It's expected that he's going to go out and score 35 to 40 points, and you don't even blink an eye.
It's insane how good this dude is. I just hope this knee is okay, because they don't have any games to, Look, this is probably their best shot at it now that they've ever had with the road laid out. Boston looks human.
No, this is the best shot. Clearly.
And if Jimmy leads the Heat over the Knicks, that dude is going to be fried because he is single-handedly putting a team on his back and carrying them. Now, you could do the inverse of that you should be scared of a guy that just, a la Iverson in 01, put a team on his back and carried them, but I'll take my chances with that.
I mean, they got Duncan Robinson now having to give them big minutes, a guy who couldn't see the floor. The kid Vincent, an undrafted guy. It's amazing the cast that is surrounded. Kyle Lowry, who's kind of I was surprised that he looked like he had a little, go in his step. But last night they needed him. He can only go 18 minutes. It's amazing what Miami has done.
No Tyler Hero.
Yeah, and Oladipo's done for the playoffs.
I mean, like for those two being done, I think the Knicks are into the conference finals.
They got a little something cool going on there.
They're playing good basketball.
What did you say this morning, Bobby?
They may be, and I know how good Miami's playing, but the Knicks might be playing the best basketball in the East right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mitchell
I don't think it's an outlandish
Mitchell
comment.
Robinson had more offensive rebounds than Mobley and Jared Allen had rebounds last night.
Hey, Mo in Warrington joins us on The Fanatic. Good morning, Mo.
Hey, good morning. Happy draft day, guys.
Good, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, I just wanted 2 quick points. I understand why they can't reseed for March Madness because they don't play the same teams. Like in the NBA, you every team. So that makes sense to reseed. And real quick on the play-in tournament, if they're going to do it anyway, and I've been screaming for this, they have to have a prize. So why can't they make the winner of the play-in tournament get the lowest chance but guarantee a lottery pick? Then they'll actually play for something.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that tournament that they're going to do, the tournament, are you talking about the in-season tournament, or are you talking about next year?
The in-season tournament, whenever it comes.
Okay. You're playing for the lottery.
Yeah. Then your team might actually want to play instead of sit everyone and not risk injury.
Mo, that's intriguing. I don't think the NBA would ever do it because they want bad teams to get better through the draft.
I wasn't sure. I didn't really comprehend what he's saying.
Like in the in-season tournament.
Yeah, who's in the in-season tournament?
Everyone's
Everybody
going to be in it.
Okay.
So he's saying because a lot of teams a lot of people are speculating that that's when they will let the Hardens, the Embiids, the star players will be players that will sit. But in order to get them to all play, you're playing for your seeding in next year's draft.
I still don't get it because you're playing your regular season. If if you do sit, I don't see how my head's spinning. I don't see how it makes sense at all.
No, it doesn't make sense. But if you want the stars to play in this tournament in the middle of the season, you give some incentive. Sort of like when the All-Star game said we're going to play for home field advantage in the World Series, where you would go the teams that play off for the championship in the in-season tournament get to have the first and second picks in the draft.
What? What if it's the 2 best teams in the league?
That's what he's saying, though, because they're saying
why would you give them the number 1 and 2 seed if they're the best teams in the league anyway?
Because they're thinking that a lot of the coaches are going to take it very non-seriously. The in-season tournament, they're not going to care about it, so it's going to end up being a joke that they have this in-season tournament.
I think that thought is kind of a joke.
I wouldn't want it. Because I think that's how bad teams.
What if Milwaukee and Boston are in the final and you say, the winner's going to get the number 1 pick and the loser's going to get the number 2 pick?
That's how the bad teams get better. You got to get them better so you can't. And they're never going to win the in-season tournament. They're never going to win it.
Yeah, none of this is making sense to me, so I think we should just move on. I don't know. Maybe I'm not grasping
We
it.
agree. So what don't you understand?
No, I don't
you
understand.
And I agree that it's not a good idea.
If they win the tournament, they get the number 1 pick? Is that what he was saying?
Or they're in the lottery.
How does that make sense?
They let him in the lottery.
That
No, he's just trying to say.
Whatsoever,
I think what he's trying to say is just get that it's going to end up being do something that's going to incentivize teams.
I feel like I'm on mescaline.
I do too. Like, let's get the hell out of here.
To play players.
Yeah.
In Cooney's Corner, Bob wants to know.
You're going to go to me now?
Yes.
I'm all confused.
Don't be confused.
This is your same thing. I don't know if we want to go to the corner.
This is your
Stay
topic.
out the corner.
He better be ready for this one.
Jamie's World or something.
No, there you go. Bob's going to sound like Jamie's World about the best draft pick.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
Yeah, all right. I was looking back at, as we all were, at all the draft picks that the Eagles have had through the years, and we can argue, who was the best, who you hated the most, as we did a little bit earlier. But if you look at this current team, and Jamie, I have a feeling I know what your answer might be, but there is arguments to be had. Who's the best draft pick that they've had on this team right now? Now, look, you have to take into consideration when they were picked, how high they were picked, maybe who was missed when they were picked, whatever it may be.
My obvious answer was the thing that came to my mind first that I had to push aside was Kelsey, and I think Jalen Hurts is now the best.
I was almost going to say we have to throw Jalen Hurts out of it like we do every other conversation
Take him out.
that we have about this team. Besides Jalen Hurts.
Take Hurts out.
Then I'll stick with my gut, which was Kelsey.
How about Mailata?
Kelsey's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you're
Mailata's not there yet.
So Kelsey went in
Sixth.
year. What year?
Oh, God.
Do we know?
2012?
I'm looking.
I thought it was even a little earlier.
Is he only 10 years in?
It was either
There it is, 11.
11.
He was the 191st pick overall. And he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. 191 he went. Jordan Mailata went 233. So about 40 picks later.
And Mailata is not on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Probably not,
No.
but he could get there.
He could get there, sure, absolutely. Because at this point in his career,
Still got a lot of football
Jason
left.
Kelsey wasn't.
No. Few guys are after, 4 or 5
So
years.
there you go.
All right, so give us top 5. Top 5 picks on this current team where they were as far as draft picks go. So we definitely have Kelsey and we definitely have Mailata.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson was
Lane
taken
Johnson-
number 3.
He was
4,
four,
or
right?
4
Lane
rather.
Johnson's
So
absolutely great, but
the impressive thing about Lane Johnson was the fact that he was the 3rd tackle taken in that draft.
There was a great story yesterday about him. Did you guys read that?
Oh, my God, dude. That quote. Yeah, go ahead.
It was
tell
awesome.
The
It was
quote
Ryan
awesome.
Grigson. He was the GM of the Colts at the time, and Lane kind of shot up late, like through the draft process. They weren't sure if he was even going to be a first rounder when they started it. So, the agent was talking to Ryan Grigson, and Ryan Grigson met Lane in like the hotel lobby or whatever in Mobile, and he said to him like, "Oh, you remind me a lot of Anthony Costanzo, who Grigson took 2 years prior in the first round from BC." And Lane just kept his mouth shut. Grigson left, and he looked at his agent and he goes, "I don't want to play for that guy who disrespects me so badly. Anthony Costanzo can't hold my effing jock."
wow.
That's how confident he was in his abilities.
That's pretty good.
wow.
Pretty badass story, right?
That is a badass story.
That is good.
Gosh.
Yeah.
All right, we got 3.
And his
I
agent's
need
like,
2
"Dude,
more.
we're about to be a first-round pick."
That's
the
pretty good.
takeaway.
Yeah.
Well,
Jamie, I'm shocked you haven't gotten one of these guys that I think is
Josh
there.
Sweat.
Josh Sweat, 4th rounder, 130 overall. That's
is
I
great.
think that's really, really good.
Josh Sweat, I would put up there.
you can't say Goddard as a
can
50th
you?
pick. Goddard was the 50th pick.
Cox is probably a Hall of Famer, so if you're using those guidelines, what was he, 13th overall?
Yeah.
Goddard was 49th overall. There's some interesting ones. Like they've done decently for themselves. Cox was 12 overall.
12. So I would say Sweat and Cox are my last 2.
Okay.
So
That's a pretty good
I
lineup.
had Kelsey, Cox, Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts, and then Mailata.
Okay, that's pretty much.
I kind of went with the Hall of Famers first because I don't care where you're drafting. Anytime you
good
can have
point.
a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
They've had one Hall of Famer drafted in the
and
first round
I
since
just laid
1960.
3, and then an MVP candidate and a 7th round gem. But if you want to switch Mailata with Sweat, I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a great list, Pat. Love you.
That is a really good list.
Love you, man.
Love you too, Bob.
I really want I still am shaking my head that I want a running back.
It's all right.
No, but I'm just
can't help how you feel.
No, because I've always been somebody who says you don't draft running backs in the first round.
I know, but
so I feel like a complete hypocrite on
but
it.
it would be
Blood's
fun as
rushing to
hell.
the tail.
But
yeah, and as we said earlier, a lot of those teams that drafted running backs
They weren't
go
in
back
position.
20 years. They weren't in a position of just losing a Super Bowl. That a team is mostly still together. That an offense, if you add one of them, could be epic.
I mean, it would be. There's no question to me that drafting a running back is the spot on the depth chart where you most can upgrade, significantly upgraded over who you have penciled in right now. Because if you're not drafting a linebacker at that position, at that point, in the teens or at 10.
And you might not have a linebacker out there that's going to have the impact that a Bijan Robinson would have, even if he is a starter for you. This is wild.
Honestly,
You put it yesterday. You said this is the most excited you've been for an Eagles draft in a long time. It's going to be fun.
I really am, because I think it's going to be a big night.
Yeah, I think a trade's going to happen.
I said an over-under yesterday, Jamie.
Those are always fun.
You didn't get to be a part of it. 2.5 trades for Howie tonight.
Oh, just tonight. I would take the over of the 3 days.
No, just tonight.
I'll go under on that.
You going under tonight?
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be 2 trades or 1 trade?
Tonight?
Yes.
2.
I think there's going to be 2.
1.
I'm expecting 2. I think it's going to be so much fun. I just can't. I'm so excited because they're so close. Because I just want to know that what they do is something that's going to help while they're close to get over the hump.
Yeah, this is their window. I mean, unless you're drafting a depth position, whoever they pick tonight should be helping you, get back to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, it's damn exciting.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to be awesome. Have you been excited by the Phillies or not?
Yeah, because there's a lot of bright spots. The bullpen's an extreme bright spot. Nick Castellanos coming around is a big bright spot. Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm. These guys are all bright spots. Bryce Harper could be back in like 7 or 8 days, which is unbelievable. So I think when that happens, it's going to be a shot of adrenaline. We'll see what happens with Walker. Suarez is close to being back. So it feels like they're coming together. And there's a lot of positive that I think will result in more wins down the line.
I'm telling you right now, when I watch this team, well, first off, I'm hoping that there's nothing with Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, he said his elbow, he could feel it in his elbow a little bit last night after the game. Didn't love hearing that.
Did you listen? Were you watching the post-game stuff? Because I only had it on for a little bit because I was switching back and forth. But Ricky Batalico didn't seem all that concerned with it. But now that you mentioned, I didn't hear the elbow part.
He said he felt it in his forearm in the second inning, got through it, it subsided, and then it came back again. And then he said he felt it like in his arm and elbow. After
I don't like hearing that.
Nah.
Especially, too, with the World Baseball Classic injuries.
Well, that's what I think it was Kevin Cooney tweeted out at another guy from the WBC.
Because they come out of the box playing in.
Yeah, they should figure out the timing of it better. I do love the tournament, but do it at a different time.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's
for
kind
pitchers.
of foolish.
For pitchers, it really
exclusively,
makes no sense.
yeah.
I mean, for the other guys, it's fine, but for pitchers,
it's dumb.
They didn't build up. They didn't get a chance to ramp
And Scherzer
up.
was right. He said, like, what am I going to go pitch in a game that's the intensity of a Game 7 of the World Series before I'm stretched out? Like, why would I do that? He's right.
And he's been proven true.
Yeah.
There's been enough guys lost to injury that just sort of.
There's a reason Team
makes it up
USA's
in.
pitching staff was what it was.
Nick Castellanos will bat cleanup today.
He looks good.
Marsh up to the 5-hole, which I like.
Yeah, and Marsh is
more
another
bats.
positive I forgot
Marsh
about.
is fantastic.
And Kevin Long getting his hands on Christian Pache after shutting him down. He's come out a new player. It's Kevin Long, man. Jeez.
All right, easy on Pache. He's got 23 at bats.
Yeah, but he looks better.
I mean, he does
Better
look
than 158. Yeah,
Yes.
I hope.
Well, I mean, you look at some of those guys in the Seattle lineup, and Pat, you were talking about you're facing another really good pitcher today with Seattle. But their lineup, they have a bunch of guys. They
got ball players.
They had three, but they had like 3 guys the other night batting under 210.
Yeah,
and that's with the shift outlawed now and everything.
But like Ty France and Teoscar Hernandez, those guys are just like ball players. You know what I mean? Like
ball players.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I do, yeah.
You sound like it's draft night.
Yeah, they're just ball players.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh's hitting like 220, but that dude can hit.
Oh man,
like that dude can rake, and he's a ball player.
Yeah.
He looks like if he wasn't playing baseball, he'd be
What would he be?
slamming Budweiser and talking about his Ford pickup truck.
I think he'd be delivering Budweiser.
Yeah,
Could be.
to Morgan
But that's how
Wallen.
I see Kyle
Yeah,
Schwarber.
absolutely.
That's how I see Kyle Schwarber too, though.
Totally.
If Kyle Schwarber pulled up in the Bud Light truck,
Man, is there ever a player that has been more true to their baseball card than Kyle Schwarber? It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Like, come June, this dude's going to take off and start hitting rockets. But April and May, you kind of got to get through a little bit.
a little bit.
A lot of bit.
Yeah, a lot of bit. A lot.
But he's true to his card, and you know it's coming.
He is, and you're hoping that that's going to be the case. I just wondered why 3 other organizations gave up on him, or 2. I don't understand it.
He's boomer
That's
bust.
frustrating. It's crap.
I mean,
it's frustrating, but he has been. But as you say, he is true to his.
Well, he started to take a downswing with the Cubs. They let him go. Washington signed him to a 1-year deal, but they weren't going to re-sign him, so they traded him to Boston. And then Boston wasn't going to re-sign him because he was a trade acquisition. And the money that he was going to warrant didn't make sense for them. So I don't think it was necessarily... I look at one team that gave up on him, and that was Chicago. And the other 2 teams, they looked at him like a merc. Thank you.
A merc.
I have no argument against you.
Like a mercenary.
Yeah, I don't
Just
have
paid,
any.
a paid gun. You're
well
saying
said,
a hired gun.
Yeah.
It's also tough. You're talking about a guy that you have to have at the top of your order, which is what people say because that's where he likes to hit best, and that's fine. That's hitting under 220. Like that is not the epitome of what baseball usually is about. One of your top 3 hitters is hitting that.
I hate that answer though, because that's where he wants to hit. You can't move him. That's where he wants to hit.
Yeah.
I just
don't even get me started on that crap.
I hate it. I hate it. I'm willing to say, you know what, you can be a little uncomfortable. And then when you start coming around, we can shift you around. And I still think he's a cleanup hitter anyway.
My biggest gripe with it is we're talking about Kyle Schwarber. Like probably the most team-friendly guy.
Absolutely.
Non-diva-ish player.
Leader of the clubhouse.
Yeah, and we're acting like that dude is going to put a gripe if he's given the 4-hole. Like, come on, man.
It's ridiculous. He is a 4-hole hitter.
Yeah.
He's like prototype.
Castellanos, the way he's hitting now, I want him in the 3-hole. That's what my 3-hole hitter is.
Yeah,
A doubles guy that can occasionally get you a home run, but hits for average also. I would swap them immediately.
When Price comes back.
I can't get over the stat that I found last year where it was like 6 players in the history of the game have hit 47 home runs and less than 100 RBIs, and he was one of them. And it was because, he's comfortable in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, that's not
okay, that's great. Nobody's on base.
I wonder if that's overplayed and he agrees with it. I guess he would come out and say something,
could
but I
speak
wonder.
up. I
wonder if because he seems like such a good dude, and he seems like a real leader on the team. And if they were to come out and say, "Look, we're going to hit you 4th," I don't think he'd bitch and moan. I don't think that's overplayed.
No, why would you? Hey, it's time to dust off those renovation plans. Start designing that new kitchen of your dreams with some help from Colonial Marble and Granite. Visit colonialmarble.net today. So, final question on the show today. Pat Egan. Will Bijan Robinson be an Eagle?
No.
Jamie Lynch, will Bijan Robinson be an Eagle?
No.
Bob Cooney, will Bijan Robinson be an Eagle?
No.
Oh, my gosh.
But they will have a running back after tonight.
I think they will have.
Jamar Gibbs?
Do you think Gibbs will be it? Or someone else? In the first round?
We'll see.
I don't know.
Trades. Don't forget about trades, boys.
Yeah, that could be too.
Yeah, that Austin and
Eckler thing is interesting.
Nugget is interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. And by the way, though, it is $2.1 million more in cap hit.
I don't give a damn about the Eagles' money.
Yeah, you don't care about that.
I'm not paying those bills.
You sound like Les Snead.
I miss you saying that all the time.
You're like Les
What do I
Snead.
care about their money?
It's not my money.
F those picks.
Yeah.
You're like,
right.
Or F those
the
free
Rams
agents.
have to pay for those picks now.
Yeah, they are. They're paying for it now. They're paying for it in a big way. But
helps to have a Super Bowl trophy to
I think they're happy.
to lay your head on. Yeah.
I think that Kroenke told him to go win a Super Bowl. Get a Super Bowl, get us established. But look forward to that. Hey, it's going to be a big night tonight, and I know Cuz Radio is going to get you ready for the draft, too. Jamie, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks to the people at Bet Parks, and check out the Daily Odds Pod on all your podcast platforms. Fun times. Daily Odds Pod will be out tomorrow morning, recapping and reacting to the pick.
And if you'd like
Picks,
to,
maybe.
You're up early in the morning. If you'd like to jump in tomorrow morning, we'll call you on the phone.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text.
All right, no, we'll call you on the phone.
All right.
Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partners, Carney All Seasons and make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research today. Do it at 97.5thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives. I'm heading down to the Phil.